Good morning, good morning, good morning. We have a special guest that will be joining us this morning. So we are going to have a moment of deep breathing as our guest joins us. Ha ha! Oh, we're going to have fun this morning. Oh, it's about to be all the way on this morning. It is about to be all the way on. Hold on. Good morning, good morning. As we begin our morning this morning, as always, deep breathing. Deep breathing. Today is day 18. Give yourself a congratulations because you made it this far. I am coming to you from Cozumel, Mexico, and I decided to stay in today. Last couple of days, we've been having fun with the elements. Today, I decided, okay, I'm going to stay indoors this morning so that we could hear everything that's going on with everyone on the stream, as well as our wonderful, amazing guests that we have today. So we're just going to have a moment of deep breathing as we uh, allow for our guests to join us. Today is lesson 18. And the lesson is I am not alone in experiencing the thought, in experiencing the effects of my seeing. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. That's today's lesson. So let's have a deep breath. Breathe and allow. Breathe and remember that you don't have to know. You know the knower. You don't have to know everything consciously. You don't have to know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, who it's going to happen with. You don't need to know. You know the knower. Let go of the need to know. With a deep breath, just dismiss it. Well, what's going to happen? Well, who's going to be there? These are over questioning. Questions are beautiful. Over questioning is just lack of certainty, lack of faith. And faith does not mean blind belief in things like sky gods and whales who swallow humans for 3 days. These metaphors, faith means certainty, knowing within yourself who you are, what you are about, certainty. Breathe and garner and gather certainty. Call up your certainty. All right. As you deep breathe and prepare for our message for today, prepare for our meditation and our message for today. Connect with divine mind. Connect with divine mind. Go from your head to your heart. Here, abiding in the heart, this is the dwelling place of source, the heart center, the heart, not the head. Remember, the head is guided by source, led by source. Heart. And as you connect with source deeply in the heart, breathe and give source full permission to take over everything in your life. This is called surrender. Give permission. Beloved, it goes by your word. Heaven can do nothing unless you say so. Give permission to Source, the archangels, the angels, ancestors, spirit guides, ascended masters. Surrender your life and will to the divine will, which is one and the same. Deep breath and surrender. No more fighting. No more hesitating, procrastinating. No more wondering, confusion, none of that. Simply surrender to your true self, capital S. Surrender. Let go. Breathe. Doesn't that feel good, having dropped your need to know and coming into full surrender? Now, scan your being, your body. As we do every morning, breathe deeply, animate your being, activate the light body. Breathe. And Dr. Julie, I will allow you to take over our meditation.
My goodness.
I'll put you right to work, huh? Come on, sis.
All right, let's just take a couple of deep conscious breaths. Allow ourselves to be in the present moment. And allow yourself to just notice your breath entering and exiting your body. Just focusing on that and allowing everything else to fall away. And as you breathe in, you want to breathe in white light, pure white light, and allow that light to fill your body with each breath in and to be released with each exhale. Allow your body to be illuminated with this light and to take away any debris, anything that is less than that. Let it take it away like ash. And then focus your attention at the base of your spine, base of your pelvis. And as you inhale, allow that light to go all the way to the base of your pelvis and illuminate that area of the root chakra. And as you exhale, anything that is not supportive of that chakra, of that energy field, be taken away with each exhale. Bringing vitality and light to that area. The foundation of our physicality. And we move up to the second chakra, right below your navel. It's the sacral chakra. And allow that breath to illuminate that area. Enlightening our creativity and our reproductive drive. Again, just inhaling white light and letting it go down right below your navel, and illuminating that area. And we're moving up the chain along our spine, and we're moving right below our rib cage now, and allowing that white light that we breathe in to illuminate that area, the third chakra, the solar plexus, the third energy center that guides our will and our drive, determination to see things through. And moving up the chain once more of our spine, you reach chakra number 4, which is the pivot chakra, the chakra that is in between the lower physical energy centers of 1, 2, and 3, and the higher spiritual energy centers of 4, 5, 5, 6, and 7. And the heart. And we're breathing into our hearts and allowing that breath to clear anything that is not serving us, clear anything that is not like the light that we're breathing in. And allow yourself to feel the warmth that comes from breathing in that white light to that energy center. And allow yourself to feel the expansiveness of that energy center while you breathe in that white light. This is the seat of the soul, the seat of consciousness that we're breathing into right now. Allow it to become clear with breathing in this white light. And moving one more step up to the throat, the 5th energy center. Breathing white light to that area, allowing it to become clear. If you're having trouble speaking your truth, allowing the light to illuminate what needs to be burned away so that you can speak your truth. Any doubt, any fear. And not just your truth, but the truth. The truth of the higher self is spoken from here. The I am consciousness is a part of this energy center. I am that I am. Allow yourself to feel the warmth in your throat that comes from breathing in this light. And the expansiveness of the I am presence. And moving up right to the 6th chakra, the 6th energy center, right between the eyes at the level of the forehead. This is another creative center where we're using true vision to create, to see truly, to see with our higher self, our higher consciousness. Breathe into that center And allow that center to become clear with each inhale, releasing anything that is not of that with each exhale. Finally, up to the top of the head, allowing that portal to the higher realms to be clear and open with each breath that we breathe in. Allow yourself to feel a sensation at the top of your head, on your scalp, of an opening that's taking place. With each breath. And last but not least, go about a foot above your head and allow yourself to feel that space right above your head and breathe into that area, breathe into that center. Reaffirming and reestablishing your link with the divine. Just being clear of who you really are and who you really are a part of. And with each breath, just allow all of these energy centers to be activated. With each breath, just like a string of lights, allow each center to be activated. The base of the pelvis, right below your navel, right below your rib cage, in the center of your chest, in your throat, above your eyes, in the center of your forehead, on top of your head, at the scalp, and above your head. We give thanks for the energy that we have that makes us us and connects us to the divine, because we are divine. We are outpicturings of the divine. And we give thanks for everything that we're about to offer and receive. And we know that our way will continually be made easy, safe, and successful by the energy of the living God that resides in each and every one of us. So be it, and so it is.
And so it is.
And gently bring your awareness back to the room. You can open your eyes and allow yourself to carry that energy with you throughout the day, with your eyes open or closed.
And that is Dr. Jiwa Lee. If you don't know who Dr. Jiwa Lee is, run, don't walk to, where do they go, Jiwa, as I pull up the course lesson for today?
drjewa.com, drjewa.com. I'll put it in the chat.
Excellent. Dr. Jiwa Lee is in the house this morning, master teacher of A Course in Miracles and ancient Egyptian mysticism. And she is with us this morning and led us in the meditation. And now will lead us in A Course in Miracles, lesson 18. You want to read it? We read it and then discuss. You want to read it for us, Dr. Chiwali?
Sure. Lesson 18. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. The idea for today is another step in learning that the thoughts that which give rise to what we see are never neutral or unimportant. It also emphasizes the idea that minds are joined, which will be given increasing stress later on. Today's idea does not refer to what you see as much as to how you see it. Therefore, the exercises for today emphasize this aspect of your perception. The 3 or 4 practice periods which are recommended should be done as follows. Look about you, selecting subjects for the application of the idea for today as randomly as possible, and keeping your eyes on each one long enough to say, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of how I see blank. Conclude each practice period by repeating the more general statement. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. A minute or so, even less, will be sufficient for each practice period. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing.
Okay, Jiwa, what say you about that?
So, we are all of one mind. We are all created from one creator, and that we are the effects of that creation. And so we also.
Oh, Jiwa, they're asking if you can speak up a little louder because everyone can't quite hear everything you're saying. Thank you, Emir Otto.
Okay,
Thank
can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yes, much better.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Still have morning voice. This is the first time I'm speaking. Woo, okay.
All good. All good.
We are all of one mind. We are all created from one creator, and we are the effects of that creation. And being of that one mind, we also have the ability to create. That's what makes us the image and likeness of God, the ability to create. And so you're not alone in experiencing the effects of your seeing because of this link to everyone else that is created. And so even though you may have your own filter as how you see things, you are not alone in experiencing the effects of your seeing. So for example, if I see people as, I'm just going to use something dubious because most people can relate to that first. I see people as threatening or
How about use Fauci for an example? Because you know a lot of people like to talk about him or Biden or Trump, whomever you like to have a problem with. Pick one.
okay. I'm just going to do general for right now. So let's say
Okay.
I'm not going there. I'm going to pick general right now. Oh my goodness. So
Somebody gonna get mad.
if I think everybody's a liar, you know, people are untrustworthy and people are liars because I'm holding that in my consciousness as a belief. Everything that comes into my auric field or enters my auric field has to match my consciousness. It has to be an energetic match.
Could you say that again, please?
Everyone that enters my auric field has to be an energetic match in order to be there. No one can't be in my field unless they're an energetic match.
How is it that you are able to say that with so much certainty when we hear people all the time say, they did this, they did that, I'm not like that, da, da, da. We fight this simple law and truth. How is it that you're able to state this with certainty?
Because I've experienced it. I've experienced it. And also, I know that I'm speaking of not just this lifetime, but my soul's life.
Mm.
You know, we're when we speak or talk about this, A Course in Miracles, yes, we're experiencing it in this lifetime. Yes, we were called to it in this lifetime, but it was our soul um, earn yearning for this knowledge based on experiences from past lives. You know, it's like the evolution of the soul that leads us to these teachings, because there's a yearning to get back to what is true, what is known. Um, and so you may not have been a liar or a thief or a bigamist or anything like that in this lifetime. However, in previous lifetimes, you may have been that and experienced that. And so you are still holding that experience in your consciousness. And so if you are experiencing people doing things to you that you don't understand why they're doing to you, let's say that you always find yourself in abusive relationships, but you never hurt a fly. Well, the only way that you can be in abusive relationships is that you were an abuser, because how energy works and how law works is that you have to give it first in order to receive it.
Woo! Woo! Say that again. Woo! Mm.
You have to give it first in order to receive it. So the energy works as you give first, and then it comes back to you. That's the karmic loop. It has to be given first in order for you to receive it. So in anything that you want to receive, so if you want to receive abundance, or you want to receive charity or kindness or anything else, you can't sit back and wait for those things to come to you. You have to be offering those things first in order for that energy to go out and then come back to you. And so it's just like anything, everything that works in the universe, you have to give first in order to receive. So if you were in abusive relationships, you are not a victim of your circumstances. I want you to understand this too, because you are the image and likeness of God. You are God. Okay. So you are God having a life experience. And so because we're given free will and dominion, which is what makes everything possible in our lives, nothing is forced, or we're not coerced in anything that we do or say. That's the elegance of this whole thing. Because we're given free will and dominion, you can choose who you want to be. So you have a foundation of God. Okay, that's your foundation. That's your touchstone. But if you want to be wretched and egoic and everything else, you can choose to be that as well. But just know that when you are in your ego or identifying as a body, you will have the effects of that identification. So you will be a victim of your identification. So if you want to identify as your egoic thoughts and materialistic wants and needs, or do you want to identify as that I have everything that I need and I know that it is at my disposal based on my consciousness and what I choose to call forth? Those are your two choices. That's the duality of life, duality of everything or nothing. And so when I am not alone in the effects of my seeing, the power of your consciousness and your auric field as a result of your consciousness is what's driving your experience and the experience of others who are in your auric field.
So, questions, family. Come up on stage in Clubhouse, where every day we have a discussion. And we have a discussion also right here in the chat. Questions for Dr. Jiwa Lee, Master Teacher of A Course in Miracles, and also a heart specialist. How are you a heart specialist?
I forgot to bring my book down. You know I'm the worst at this, Valerie. Anyway.
She wrote a really good book.
I wrote a book.
Core Perfecto. Maybe we can bring that too.
Yeah, core perfectum, what you don't know about your life may be, core perfectum, what you don't know about your heart may be killing your life. It's available in paperback and on ebook on Amazon, and then also at my store at drjiwa.com. There's an audiobook that has been made available. So it's me reading the book. And
Is
so
your website drjiwa.com or drjiwalee.com? I'm going to put it in the
drjiwa.com is my book.
jiwa.com. It's the book. Excellent. All right.
Everybody can hear me okay?
Dr. Jiwa! I hear your voice, and you guys are talking in the meditative voices, and I wanted to just scream, like, hi, I love you, I miss you.
Hi, honey. How are you?
We love Jiwa. You know how we love Jiwa.
How are you?
That's Taya Bell, Harmony. Taya Bell, is the last time you saw Dr. Jiwa Lee when we were at your house? For What is Beauty, remember?
I went to Detroit and we went to see
Iyanla.
Mama Iya.
You went to see Mama Iya. Okay.
Yep.
That was the last time you saw Dr. Jiwa. How long ago was that?
Right before our global meditation.
Wow.
It's been a minute. It has been a minute.
Okay. So, Harmony, did you have a question? Anyone on Clubhouse, raise your hand, hop on stage. Normally by this time, everyone would be hopping up on stage now. So everyone in Clubhouse is quiet, and maybe because they're listening to Dr. Julie. They're not saying nothing. They're not asking no questions. Normally, they just be right up on stage. Okay, so they're listening intently. I love it. Okay, continue, Jiwa.
Okay, so let's see.
Putting your book in the chat. I'm just answering questions in the chat when you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this whole thing of consciousness is no joke. I mean, we are pure consciousness. And so being mindful of what we are holding in our thoughts is going to be paramount. And we get to see the evidence of our thoughts by what we outpicture as our lives. Because our consciousness is like the film in a film projector. And the light that illuminates that film is the energy of God. And so if you don't like what's being projected in front of you as your life, you don't change the light, because the light is fine. You change the film. And the only way you can change the film is by releasing those things in your consciousness that are causing the disturbances that are there, because they're there to teach you what you need to heal. Everything that you think that is messy or disruptive or not of your liking is actually of service to you, to help you heal and to further your ascension to oneness. You can't get to oneness by being fractured. You can't get to oneness being fractured. And so these things that seem disturbing or non-productive are fractures, or things that you have accumulated over your soul's lifetime, things that you have done when you were unconscious of who you were. You didn't understand that you were the image and likeness of God, or there was even a link between you and God. You thought you were in survivor mode, and you did things to survive. And so in your soul's lifetime, you may have raped and killed and stolen and done all these things in order to be successful in your survival. Not because you were bad or wrong, but just because that's how it was for you in that moment in your consciousness, in your soul's consciousness. But now that you have evolved to a place where you are aware that there is something more than this life of survival, there's something more than, even though it's been brushed up and made to look elegant and technologically savvy and everything else, we're able to do things and obtain things and procure safety in easier forms than we had to do in the past by going out and hunting and gathering and building and farming and all this other stuff. We have the convenience of supermarkets and cars and planes and homes and security systems and Alexa and all these things that keep us safe, supposedly. But we have this underlying feeling that there's something more. There's something that I'm missing. There's something that I'm remembering about what is true. And this is what usually brings people to A Course in Miracles. They want to understand what is true. What is true about themselves? What is true about their divinity? Not from a power play kind of sense, but just from I'm tired of living this way kind of sense. I'm just tired of having to figure out things all by myself. And so there is divine help. There is divine inspiration and intervention that is available through our consciousness. And so we just need to be aware of what is disturbing us, not run away from it, not try to modify our behavior to live with it, but to confront it as your information. Now, that can be hard for sometimes when you think that you're on a spiritual path and everything is spiritual, is supposed to be holy and nice and everything else. That's not what spirituality is about. That's not what the spiritual journey is about. The spiritual journey is about cleaning up the things that will lead you to higher consciousness. And all the things that you're cleaning up are things that are not going to be nice. If it were nice, it wouldn't need to be cleaned up. And so it's a spiritual journey is a roll up your sleeves kind of job. And so being aware of what is in your consciousness is paramount. So if you're seeing things that are disturbing to you, that's a great thing. That's the first step. Awareness is always the first step. And the second step is ownership. Even though you don't think that this stuff is yours, if it keeps on happening to you, you keep on being in abusive relationships, or you keep on abusing substances, either food or drink or emotional chemicals of anger and depression or anything like that. Those are substances to the chemicals of those emotions. We can get addicted to those things as well. It's time to let those things go if you're truly about your ascension.
Why is it so hard, Jiwa? Why is it difficult for us to simply be God? Simply be God, drop all the bullshit, and stop playing games, stop blaming things on other people. Like, that was my biggest thing, that it's all in my consciousness, and just be God. Like, why is that so challenging?
Because there's a part of us that really likes what we're doing. There's a part of us that's comfortable with what we know. And so we're actually going into a quote unquote unknown realm of peace and abundance. And so we've been indoctrinated into, we've been acclimated or in this whole survival game for so long that these habits, these mental habits, are hard to let go of. They can be hard to let go of. And so it really takes a deep, true wanting and to let these things go, and a remembering, and sometimes it takes repetition. It's just like, when you peel something off that has a hard surface, you're chipping away, and sometimes you hit a fault line that's a crack that breaks off large pieces. And sometimes you hit a fault line that breaks away most things, but you still have to keep on chipping away. You can't get discouraged at your progress, because anything that is moving forward is considered progress. Even standing still is considered progress. At least you're not going backwards.
So even if you're stuck, that's okay, because you're not going back.
Yeah, because that will pass. You'll reach a point where you have, I'm going to say, the energy to take on what's coming next and move forward and releasing the things that are disturbing you. So how do you release these things? It basically is a wholehearted desire to release things. For example, if you're an abuser, or let's say you are in abusive relationships over and over again, then the conversation has to be something like this. Okay, obviously, since I've been in I'm in an abusive relationship, I was an abuser. And now
That's not the normal thing that we say.
I know, and it may not be the first thing that you say. Let me just say, it may not be the first thing you say, and more
First
often
thing I said was, I'm a victim. They're the problem, and I'm the victim. And why would they treat me like that?
right. But after enough times of being the victim, there comes a point where you're like, okay,
you gotta start asking some
this is
questions.
not working. There must be something else that's going on. Okay, let me just remember what was said to me earlier about this whole victim thing. And so there's a conversation that has to be had, and it's not necessarily while you're in the throes of the abuse. It's a moment where you're in meditation or journaling, or after you've read A Course in Miracles. This is a time where you're in a heightened vibratory state, and then you can actually access this help. And basically, what you're doing is you're saying, "Look, obviously, I was an abuser, based on the fact that I am."
And I'm receiving abuse.
Receiving abuse.
Obviously, I was an abuser
Mhm.
because I'm receiving abuse.
And there's no way around it. There are no such thing as victims. I
Or
can't,
perpetrators.
or perpetrators. I cannot be God and victim at the same time.
So pick one.
I have to pick one. And so if I'm choosing God, then I'm going to release the things that are not like that. And so I choose to release my abusive tendencies. I don't like how it feels. I don't like how it feels to be on the receiving end of this. And I forgive myself for being the perpetrator of this. I forgive myself for being the starter of this cycle of energy. And I choose not to be this anymore, because you are still an abuser in your consciousness. That's why you're receiving the abuse. So I choose not to be an abuser anymore, and really, really from the bottom of your soul, mean that, and don't do it anymore. Go forth and sin no more, kind of thing. So that's what true forgiveness is. It's giving forth the thing that is the fracture, or the smudge on the lens of your projector, or anything like that. All those metaphors. It's the thing that you're giving forth that is forgiving. So it's not anything outside. You're not forgiving anybody. That's futile. You're going to keep on you forgive this person, you're going into another relationship, and Joe's an abuser because you haven't done the work.
We repeat the same pattern just with different people, because what we have not understood yet or come to realize is that deep within, something in us is calling that to us.
Yes.
Mama Ia has a statement for that. She says, everything in your life is here by your invitation. You just have to remember what invitation you sent out.
Exactly.
You sent the invitation out. And here it is. It showed up perfectly.
Perfectly. There's no accidents. No accidents. And everything's from, okay. And I know that people are reading A Course in Miracles, and if you're reading the lessons, you're getting some foundational stuff. But when you start reading the text of the Course, you will really see.
Yes, indeed. In the text.
See, especially chapter 2. I love chapter 2. Chapter 2 is like a Shakespearean play. And Shakespeare, when he writes his plays, the first act, he basically outlines the whole story, or everything that's going to happen in that first act. And so you can know what's going to happen in the first act, in a Shakespeare play, just based with the setup in the first act of his plays. And chapter 2 is just like everything's right there. That's in the whole book. Repeated over and over and over again, because we're hardheads and we have to hear it different ways. We try to weasel our way out of, or think of our way out of different scenarios of, they can't possibly mean this, or this situation is a little bit different from that situation. And the Course in Miracles is so snarky and so on point that it'll say, look, yeah, that too, that needs to be called into question. So I've been studying A Course in Miracles since 2009, every year, every day since 2009. So now we're in 2022. So how many years is that? 13 years?
13 years. And why do you keep doing it?
Because I'm a different person each time I read it.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep doing it because it is the instruction manual on how to live your life. And
Mm.
if you're willing to
Mm.
follow its dictates, this past week was a very challenging week for me, and Valerie knows some of the details of it. It's challenging in the sense that, there's a lot of unknown things. There's a lot of things that were unknown. And so I had to, the thing that was my touchstone was that I had to rely on the things that I did know.
Mm.
And this, the incident that was happening involved my son. He went missing for several days. He came up to visit me, and he went missing. No communication, no nothing. And so I'm like, initially would be frantic as to what in the world is going on with this boy. Well, it's actually a man, but man child, because he still has some growing to do. So emotionally,
He's your boy. He's God's boy.
and so the things that I knew to be true were: I saw him last on Tuesday leaving the house. I knew that he was going on a job interview, and I knew that he, like everybody else, has a higher self. Those are the things that I knew were true, and that nothing that would happen to him was not of his higher self's choosing. Everything that would be happening, things that even that I would think would be devastating if he were to be killed or to die, if he were okay, all of it was fine because all of it was divinely guided. And I had to be okay with that because our wants and needs are egoic wants and needs. My egoic need as a quote unquote mother wants him to be safe in the way that I think what's safe. I wanted him to be alive, which is what I think is safe or the right thing. But who says that his lessons don't involve that?
Mm.
Who says that, whatever he's up to in this lifetime, whatever he is to learn, it doesn't involve something other than what my wants and desires are. And so this was a powerful lesson for me in remembering my divinity as well as his, that everybody is on their life path. Everybody has their own level of consciousness. Everyone's here to learn different things. And once you learn those things, then you get to check out. We have a lot of people checking out right now. A lot of people
A
deciding
lot
to
of people
leave.
checked out in 2020 and 2021. Yeah.
And when they leave, they're not gone. They're just not here on this earth plane. They're still around. Their energy is still around. Their soul is still around. And they're on to their next assignment. They're on to their next lesson, whatever that may be. So the holding on to the idea that my son is not okay if something happens to him was a powerful lesson for me this week.
That's an amazing lesson because right as you said it, Gina asked this question: what if the people who grate your nerves are your teenage children? How do you release this so that you're not repeating the pattern of annoyance? Just as you began telling that story, she had that in the chat. Mhm.
Yeah, so you have to really hone in onto what is actually triggering the annoyance. So what are they saying or doing that is triggering you? And then see the pattern in that, and then you can identify what it is that needs to be given forth. I can tell you from experience of doing this that it feels like magic, but that's what the miracle is in A Course in Miracles.
Mm.
The miracle is transmuting things from fear-based illusion to love-based reality.
Mm.
Yeah, and so that's the miracle.
Say
So
that again.
it's
So delicious.
transmuting things from fear-based illusion to love-based reality. And so when you're giving forth these things, you're letting go these fearful things that you did based out of fear, based out of survival in your soul's journey. You're releasing these things and now just having a more space for love. And so people will transform in front of you if you allow this to happen. It's until you actually do it, it's hard for me to describe what that's like. But it's just like when it happens, you're kind of waiting for them to go back to how they were. Why did like,
You're too loving, and I'm used to you being mean
yeah,
and
that was a
angry.
nice thing you said, or
Yeah.
you opened the door for me, or you carried a package for me, or
Yeah.
you're
You're being
considerate
kind.
and kind and nice.
What's the catch?
What's the catch? And it's
Okay.
okay to do that, but just don't say it out loud. You can think it, but don't verbalize it, because then then you're
Your
perpetuating
magic
the
word.
thing.
It worked.
Yeah, so it worked. That is the transformation. That's the giving forth. That is the forgiveness, and that's the evidence of the forgiveness. So you wanted to build a case of evidence. You're building a case of evidence, all right, based on your consciousness. You're out picturing your life. That's your evidence of what you're holding in your consciousness. So you want to build a case of how miracles can work in your life. And so in order for that to happen, you have to give up something, not look for something to come to you, but you have to give up things in your consciousness, not material things, not fasting and praying. I mean, if you want to do that, you can. Those are instruments in doing that.
Yeah.
However, the true thing is your consciousness, giving forth the thing. Even if you swear up and down, I'm not a liar, I'm not an abuser.
Why would they do this to me? They keep coming into my life doing these things. They just keep doing that.
Yeah, you're missing the point of this whole thing, this whole game of ascension. You have to fall before you can ascend. And so the fall was you falling out of pure consciousness. It wasn't the fall of you falling. Okay, your fall into sin. Let me just clarify this. The fall into sin is the fall out of pure consciousness. It's the fall of being without. Sin means without. Sin doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Sin means that you're without pure consciousness. That's all it means. So you're not bad or wrong, anything else. That means that your consciousness was not on the level of pure consciousness. That's what the fall is about. The resurrection is about you going back to pure consciousness. So these terms that we are familiar with have meanings other than the ones that we are familiar with. And that when you think about it, it's like, this really makes sense.
Yes, it
And
does.
that's why I read A Course in Miracles every day. And I've been reading it every day for the past 13 years. Because the more I read it, the more it makes sense. It's like, and each time I read it, it feels like a new book. Because it's a new book, because my consciousness is different.
This year in A Course in Miracles is different from any year I've ever done A Course in Miracles. Harmony.
Okay, so I have a lot of invitations that I sent out, but I'm just going to pick this particular.
Don't we all? We have a lot of invitations we sent out. Yes, indeed.
So, for example, in every relationship I have ever been in, there's always a third party bully in the relationship, and I always thought everything that we need to heal from usually happens between the ages of 0 to 7, and I definitely had a lot of bullies in my life during that period. However, what you're saying is I obviously was a bully in a past life, and if that is the case, then how do you heal something that you don't even remember?
Okay, so yes, from 0 to 7, you are given the outline of your curriculum in this lifetime. Basically you're giving the outline of what the things that you're going need to heal. So if bullying is one of those things, the curriculum is set based on 0 to 7. You're giving a view of what needs to be done, but what happened may have happened in another lifetime, and
I
so.
think that's the piece, Jiwa, that a lot of people are missing. That they just look at what's occurring, just like maybe the last decade, or maybe we're too short sighted. Maybe we're
Mhm.
not looking at it as God.
Right, right. Your soul is, who knows how old your soul
How
is and how
old?
many
Eons.
lifetimes you've lived. I had the opportunity to have a past life drawing done when I was living in Rochester, New York, almost 40 years ago now. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, and I was astonished at how many lives that were in that drawing. I mean, all the way from ancient Egypt to Viking era to colonial America. I mean, it was astounding how many lifetimes. I think there were like at least 20 lifetimes in that one drawing. And she said, this is not by means all of them. These are the ones that I just picked up on. And
It's very fascinating too. I want to add a little something in here. We just went to the Edgar Cayce Association for Research and Enlightenment in Virginia Beach for our retreat, winter solstice, and
Mhm.
they have a painting there. And it shows the painting as you described, past lives. And it actually showed from the readings, from the psychic readings and touching infinite knowing, it showed the past lives of him and his wife, Gertrude, and how many times it overlapped and the different people they were. Like one time she would be some child of his or a brother
Mhm.
of his or something. And then another time. It was astounding. And when you stand there and look at the pictures, you literally get chills because you know that you are looking into divine, you're looking from divine mind. You're not
Mhm.
looking from this lifetime.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. And so we have soul groups. I'm sure you've heard that term. If you're not familiar with that term, you have soul groups that, souls that y'all hang out together, y'all learn together, y'all do stuff together in different lifetimes. And so, and one of the things that I was told, that, the people or the souls or the people that are in your soul groups, usually the ones that are doing the most heinous things to you are the ones that love you the least.
Because they agreed. I saw that vision once in like quote unquote heaven, right? We have these words that describe these concepts to make them a little more accessible. That I was like in this meeting in heaven before my soul came here, and there was source and angels and all kinds of beings around and souls in my soul group. And I was like, I have to really get out of being a victim or whatever, sources. We're strategizing on this next lifetime, so to speak, right? Having like a communion around this next lifetime, right? And in Kabbalah, they said it's like a conveyor belt. You pick your issues off. Okay, I'm going to deal with abandonment, or I'm going to deal with victim, right? And then if I'm going to get rid of victim, wouldn't I have to have someone in the soul group say, okay, well, I'll be your abuser. I'll pose as your abuser. Okay, great. But now we're going to forget all this. We're going to forget that we did this. And
Hmm.
that was kind of the vision that I was receiving of how you set this whole thing up. You set the whole thing up and then we forgot. You come here and complain.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. And so, A Course in Miracles says that, we have upside down perception. And so if things are upside down, there's a 180-degree difference, basically. And so it's a course in mind training that you're doing when you're reading A Course in Miracles. And so if you're doing a course in mind training, you're going to have to be willing to train your mind.
Mm.
It's the willingness. You ask me what takes so long for some people to do whatever. Willingness, nothing, about anything that you're doing is going to be forced upon you. You know, your evolution, it'll take as long as it needs to take based on your willingness to do it. If it's coercion, then there's resentment that comes with coercion. Just think about all the times that you were coerced or forced to do something. There was a lot of resentment and everything else, and it's counterproductive. And so divine will, or free will, allows for us to take as long as we take, and do whatever we need to do, because it has to be our decision in order for it to stick, in order for it to work. Otherwise, it has an overlay of resentment or enslavement, or whatever words you want to imposition that comes along with it. That's not a part of the ascension process. The ascension process is a conscious process of going back to oneness, going back to at-one-ment, atonement, at-one-ment, atonement. That's what we're looking to do. And so if you're taking that journey, it has to be each step has to be your own decision, your own willingness. So if you decide, I'm too tired, I don't want to do this anymore, so be it.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. And there's nothing wrong with it. And the only thing that you will experience is outpicturing it is the judgment that you're holding about your decision, with people judging you about stopping. Why'd you stop? They're not doing anything. That's your judgment outpictured on just like everything else in your life. Everything that's in your consciousness is outpictured and projected onto the screen of your life, and the people who are in your space play out the roles of your own consciousness. People who are different around other people. It's like, I equate it to the funhouse mirrors kind of thing. You go into the fun house and you stand in front of a mirror, and one person, one mirror makes you look, elongated. Another one makes you look fat. Another one makes you look, distorted in some way. Well, that's what each person is. Their own consciousness is. It's a fun house mirror. So whomever is standing in front of you may look elongated, but in front of another person standing in front of that, a mirror may look fat, because their consciousness is that.
So it's really it is absolutely true. These first lessons that we've been receiving is that everything, the thought always comes first. My perception, my thinking is determining what I'm perceiving, and that I see nothing as it is now.
Exactly. I see nothing as it is now. And so
humbling, isn't it?
It's so humbling.
So humbling.
It's so humbling and so informative.
And so empowering.
Because now you go out of victim mode. So just know this: if you're on this call and you're hearing my voice, you're no longer going to be a victim.
Oh,
all right. Okay, so there you go. You no longer be a victim. You've swallowed the red pill.
Red pill.
You can no longer be a victim. Yeah, out of the matrix.
You can't say victim no more.
Can't say victim no more, and you will be tempted. I mean, I fall into it briefly until I'm like snap out of it, because I know that's a painful place to be.
So painful. It was the most painful place I've ever lived in my entire life. And one day I got this sort of this vision, or this, how spirit gives you these ahas, epiphanies, visions as you're asking and on taking that each step. And I saw truth as like this huge stake, like a huge wooden, like the wooden post that they put like things on top. Truth was like this real tall wooden pole that went all the way up to the heavens, went all the way through to the earth, and it was unmovable. And that the farther I got from it, the more pain I felt, and the darker and colder I felt.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was moving away from it, and I was like, and I was suffering. And the closer I moved to it, and if I just embraced it, I always felt peaceful and a sense of yes, not rightness. It's a sense of yes, like yes, this is how it is, like a very deep resonance. And that is when I learned that victim is the farthest thing from the truth because it denies all my divine power. Yes, all the infinite power I am. And so, therefore, it's going to be super painful because the pole is here and I'm way in Timbuktu somewhere far away from the pole. I'm going to be in a lot of pain.
Yes. Yes. And it's interesting that you chose a pole because the law of polarities really speaks on that. If you have the pole of your being, if you think of a pole, just like a broomstick, and you're holding it in your hand horizontally, and on the left-hand side is everything, the abundance thereof, omniscience, omnipotence, the image and likeness of God. And on the right-hand side is ego and nothingness. Just wanting,
Emptiness.
creating, striving,
seeking and never finding.
Seeking and never finding. On the pole of beingness, you have a choice. You can be over here on the left-hand side, or you can be on the right-hand side. And that's what we're choosing moment by moment with our choices in our consciousness, how we experience our life on that pole of being. And so you can't say that you are okay and everything is fine, but you're experiencing strife in your relationships or ill health or lack of money.
Say that again. Ooh, because your life is going to tell on you. Your mouth is saying one thing, but your life is saying something else.
Yes. And so your mouth is saying one thing, but your life is saying something else. So if you're experiencing any of these things, then on the pole of being, you're on the right side. And so most people, including myself, have experienced wanting to being on the right side, but wanting the left.
Yes,
that's we're in hell, but wanting ice water to be comfortable in that hell.
So I don't want to move myself. I want to stay there, but make me feel good while I'm here.
What
is that but insanity?
Well, that's called behavior modification. That's insanity.
Talk about it.
And it talks about it, it talked about it in the course. I read it this past week where it was talking about the tension that is created when we try to modify our behavior on our fearful circumstances.
Oh, you're all up in my stuff. Because guess when this happened? Oh my goodness. You remember after I had the eviction and I was all kerfuffled, and as Dr. Denise Bacchus says, I was in a kerfuffle and I was just tumbling, and everything was stripping away and There was nothing I could do about it. Is what the story I was telling myself. And I remember, and I didn't have my car anymore. And that was after I had a Lexus and this and that, And not having a car is okay if you had never had a car. But if you had all these luxury cars and you don't have a car, it's a whole new level of suffering, right? So,
right. Exactly.
So I was in suffering. And I remember one day I was on the bus. And I was so mad being on the bus. I was so mad. And
like, what am I doing on this bus?
So I'm sitting on the bus like, this was my inner dialogue. A bus is for losers. I got a big L on we stopping at every damn stop. When you have a car, when you have a limo and a car, you can just go straight there. It's taking me 2.5 hours to get somewhere because I'm on a bus. They would only take me 20 minutes in my car. And I was just, right? And so then I said, oh, wait a minute. This is literally the process I took myself. Wait a minute. Let me be peaceful because, I just did my spiritual practices this morning, right? I could be all the way crazy. So then I went into trying to make myself peaceful, and I calmed myself enough out of the automatic, and then I calmed myself enough. And then I sat there and I was trying to access peace, and I couldn't access it all the way. I was a lot calmer. And then the voice said to me, you're trying to make yourself feel good in a place where you don't belong. You're supposed to be not feeling good if you're in hell.
Right.
Why are you trying to make yourself peaceful in hell? Get out of hell.
Right.
And a bus is not hell. That was my take on it.
Yeah. That was where your consciousness was at that point. You're like, oh, I'd rather be in a car, and anything other than a car would be hell for me.
Because I knew that was not my divine potential.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was on level 1 and God was on level 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And why was I all the way down here? Because I know I can do better.
Right.
I know better in myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this is not the life that divine would have for me. I'm in hell right now. So
Right.
that's what my hell looked like, a bus. I don't know. Maybe your hell looks like a limo, right? It depends on what each person's personal hell looks like. Everybody's hell don't look the same. That day I was in hell on the bus. Personal hell, okay?
Oh my goodness. So I think I found it. I think
comfortable in hell with a drop of water, like Lazarus in the Bible.
Right. Where I'm reading from chapter 2, section 6, entitled Fear and Conflict. And I think I want to
bring it up on this screen. Let me see.
Chapter 2, section 6, Fear and Conflict.
Do you see the screen on? Do you see my screen, Jiva?
I do.
Okay, great. We're going to go right to it right now. We're going to go to the text. Chapter 2. Chapter 2?
Yeah, chapter 2.
Which one?
Section 6, Fear and Conflict.
Section 6. Boom. Let's pull it up right now.
Let's see. All right, I'll just read this whole little thing right here.
Yes.
To give some foundation, okay?
Yes.
Being afraid seems to be involuntary, something beyond your own control. Yet I have said already that only constructive acts should be involuntary. My control can take over everything that does not matter, while my guidance can direct everything that does, if you so choose. Fear cannot be controlled by me, but it can be self-controlled. Fear prevents me from giving you my control. So basically, fear is a block for God. That's what it's saying right there. Fear is a block for God. So whenever you're fearful, you're not allowing God in. Okay. The presence of fear shows that you have raised body thoughts to the level of the mind. This removes them from my control and makes you feel personally responsible for them. This is an obvious confusion of levels. I do not foster level confusion, but you must choose to correct it. You would not excuse insane behavior on your part by saying you could not help it. So a lot of times, like, oh, I couldn't help what I did. No, that's not true. You should be, why should you condone insane thinking? There is a confusion here that you would do well to look at clearly. You may believe that you are responsible for what you do, but not for what you think. The truth is that you are responsible for what you think, because it is only at this level that you can exercise choice. What you do comes from what you think. You cannot separate yourself from the truth by giving autonomy to behavior. This is controlled by me automatically as soon as you place what you think under my guidance. So just thinking correctly, thinking with divine, in divine order, thinking clearly, not this craziness that we sometimes think. Whenever you're afraid, it is a sure sign that you have allowed your mind to miscreate and have not allowed me to guide it. It is pointless to believe that controlling the outcome of misthought can result in healing. When you are fearful, you have chosen wrongly. That is why we feel responsible for it. You must change your mind, not your behavior. And it is a matter of willingness. You do not need guidance except at the mind level. Correction belongs only at the level where change is possible. Change does not mean anything at the symptom level or what you're experiencing, where it cannot work. Correction of fear is your responsibility. When you ask release from fear, you are implying that it is not. You should ask instead for help in the conditions that have brought the fear about. These conditions always entail a willingness to be separate. So whenever you're fearful, you're separate from God, and you've done things in order to protect yourself or do things that are dubious in the means of survival. You know, whenever you're fearful, you're doing things in survival mode. So stealing, raping, killing, all these things that are not of God are fearful actions. Okay. These conditions always entail a willingness to be separate. That at that level, you can help it. You are much too tolerant of mind wandering and are passively condoning your mind's creations. So, you know, just understand that, you know, these miscreations that you're experiencing and that you are passively letting just slide by without any correction, you're condoning. So you're modifying your behavior based on your experience and thinking that modifying your behavior to make yourself feel comfortable with what's going on is going to work, and it will not. It creates a tension that ultimately becomes so intolerable that you understand that something else has to change, and that what has to change is at the mind level. The particular result does not matter, but the fundamental error does. The correction is always the same. Before you choose to do anything, ask me if your choice is in accord with mine. If you're sure that it is, there will be no fear. So, and if you're ever experiencing strain, fear is always a sign of strain, arising whenever what you want conflicts with what you do. Okay. And so it goes on to talk about how this whole thing goes on. First, you choose to do conflicting things, either simultaneously or successively. And so this produces conflicted behavior, which is intolerable to you because the part of the mind that wants to do something else is outraged. Second, you behave as you think you should, but without entirely wanting to do so. So I'm going to be nice, but
I've done all of this. I've done all of this. I mean, the course is reading my book right now.
This produces consistent behavior, but entails great strain. In both cases, the mind and the behavior are out of accord, resulting in a situation in which you are doing what you do not wholly want to do. This arouses a sense of coercion that usually produces rage, and projection is likely to follow. So projection of rage is likely to follow. So what that means is that you're enraged on the inside, so that you're going to have conflict on the outside. You're going to have conflict in your relationships or in your circumstances, or, you know, things are not going to go smoothly for you because you're experiencing rage. Okay. Things break down. So whenever there is fear, it is because you have not made up your mind. Your mind is therefore split, and your behavior inevitably becomes erratic. Correcting at the behavioral level can shift the error from the first type to the second type, but not obliterate the fear. And so it goes on to talk about, you know, how to, you know, you have to correct at the mind level. You know, it is possible to reach a state in which you bring your mind under my guidance without conscious effort. But this implies a willingness, there's that word again, that you have not developed as of yet. Some of us have developed it more than others. All right. So the Holy Spirit cannot ask more than you're willing to do. The strength to do comes from your undivided decision. There's no strain in doing God's will as soon as you recognize that it's also your will.
True. Come on.
So when you say, God, I want what you want, you have to mean it. God, I want what you want. And, you know, God's not going to give you anything that's crazy and meager and anything. That's what you've been doing. But we project our ideas about what is wanted onto God because of the things that we want. The things that we want are so small and minuscule. We want, a nice guy. We want a nice boo. We want a nice car. We want a nice house. We want, whatever it is. Those are small things compared to what God has in store for us. And so we're projecting our smallness onto God. And that's why we are hesitant, because God may just give us something that I may not like. Because, in the same category of smallness, you know what I mean? Without understanding that everything is at your disposal. So there is no strain in doing God's will as soon as you recognize that it is also your own. The lesson here is quite simple, but particularly apt to be overlooked. I will therefore repeat it. Here's the course being snarky again. Therefore, we'll repeat it, urging you to listen.
The first time, you don't get it, but I'm going to say it again.
Only your mind can produce fear. It does so whenever it is conflicted in what it wants, producing inevitable strain because wanting and doing are discordant. This can be corrected only by accepting a unified goal. I want to think with God. The first corrective step in undoing the error is to know first that the conflict is an expression of fear. Say to yourself that you must somehow have chosen not to love, or the fear could not have arisen. So I must have done this. Here we go. There's the first step. I must have done this. Otherwise, this, what I'm experiencing, or the fear that is manifesting in front of me in the form of abuse or whatever, would not have arisen. Then the whole process of correction becomes nothing more than a series of pragmatic steps in the larger process of accepting the atonement as the remedy. The steps may be summarized in this way. First, know that this is fear. That this is fear. Fear arises from a lack of love. The only remedy for lack of love is perfect love. Perfect love is the atonement, or the at one meant. I've emphasized that the miracle, or the expression of at one meant, is always a sign of respect from the worthy, or God, to the worthy, which is to you. The recognition of this worth is reestablished by the at one meant. It is obvious then that when you are afraid, you have placed yourself in a position where you need atonement. You have done something loveless, having chosen without love. This is precisely the situation for which the atonement was offered. This is the offering, the opportunity to go back to one. The need for the remedy inspired its establishment. As long as you recognize only the need for the remedy, you will remain fearful. So if you only recognize that you need to be cured, or something's wrong, and you keep on harping on what's wrong, and recognize that you need something, but not taking up the remedy, you can continue to be fearful. You will remain fearful. However, as soon as you accept the remedy, as soon as you give forth the thing that is loveless, you have abolished the fear. This is how true healing occurs. And that's why I love chapter 2.
Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. Like, what else do you say to that other than wow?
Right?
Trying to change, right? We keep trying to change our behavior. I don't want to do that. I don't want to keep doing that. Why do I keep doing this? Why does this keep happening? Without changing the mind.
Trying to change effects, which is behavior, without going to root cause. And root cause will always and forever be your thinking.
Why don't we want to accept this? It's so weird. Man, I've fought this for decades, Jiwa. In this lifetime, I don't know how many. I probably fought it for eons. No more. I just don't feel like fighting it anymore. I just don't feel, I don't have the urge or the desire to fight it. Just go with it. Just get in the river and ride down the river.
Yeah, this pandemic has been a gift for a lot of people because it offered this space and the time for introspection, to really see what they're thinking, see how the quality of their thoughts. And what has been the result is people not wanting to go back to the jobs that they had.
Yes.
Because they understand that it was not productive and serving, and that they were doing it only for survival.
Yes.
Creative and loving and expansive, and be taken care of. You don't have to acquiesce to other people's requests in the form of employment to survive. So this pandemic has been a gift and continues to be a gift.
It really is, because look at all the people they say that are leaving their jobs, the mass resigning. People were like, well, wait a minute, why was I going and sitting in that stuffy building all day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it was just indoctrinated. This is what you do. This is what you do, until the pattern broke and you could see the cycle break. And you're like, wait a minute, the cycle's broken, but I'm still here and I'm still okay. All right, well, I'm out and I'm still okay. Then there must be something other than the cycle that is available to me. And so it's like an eye-opening, aha experience for a lot of people.
It's very eye-opening, and the idea that we are not sustained by money. We are not sustained by jobs. We are not sustained by checks from the government. We're sustained by the love of God. And I think a lot of people started to experience, I am sustained by the love of God because I don't have a job right now and I don't have visible, quote unquote, I don't have as much, quote unquote, money in the bank as I'm accustomed to, whatever. I'm sustained by the love of God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a conversation with someone who's well-versed in this, and she was saying that she doesn't need to have a lot of money in the bank. She doesn't let her bank account dictate what she does, because she knows she can call forth what she needs in the time that she needs it. And that's understanding how this whole thing works. Mm-hmm. If you need $50 at the end of the month to pay a bill, and you know that you are able to pay all your bills. I know I'm able to pay all my bills.
Of course.
I know everything will be provided me, and you know that wholeheartedly, that $50 will come, and sometimes in unexpected ways. And a lot of, more often than not, what you need is provided to you in the amount that you need it, no more nor less. And so this whole idea that I need to have something banked in order to feel safe is another fear thing. Just know that your consciousness is your currency. Call forth what you need.
Consciousness is your currency.
Mm-hmm. And I've experienced it. And sometimes I fall into the fear trap when things get a little overwhelming.
I just fell into the fear trap the other day. I was like, ooh, my balances is too low. And then it was like, ooh, the universe is trying to show me something. All right, mm-hmm. Universe, like it's a game. All right, universe, you're showing me that I give more attention.
Right.
I still believe somewhere deep in myself that somehow money is my supply. Oh, money is not my supply.
No.
John Price says that, Principles of Abundance, number 5, money is not my supply. No person, place, or condition is my supply. My awareness, understanding, and knowledge of the activity of the divine mind within me is my supply. Mm-hmm. My awareness of this truth is unlimited. Therefore, my supply is unlimited. I mean, I committed it to memory because I had to keep telling myself that. Money is not my supply. No person, place, or condition is my supply.
Yeah. And so that indoctrination that you have to go out and do in order to get is really deep.
It's so deeply ingrained in us.
Yeah. And so just working at that and just building a case of evidence, just start saying yes wholeheartedly, not knowing where the money's going to come from. Woo! So just start saying yes. And see what happens. Not yes with, oh, this is going to work out. No, just yes. I'm going to go and do so. Like, for example, yes, I'm going to Mexico in March or April.
Be like, come on, G, what we doing? What we doing? Come on.
I'm going to go see my sister gallery in March and April, So I'm saying yes to that. Right now, if I'm being truthful, I don't have the money in my account to do it. However, I know that it's going to be handled. I know it's going to be handled because I said yes. And that's the thing. You can't counter the yes, because as soon as you counter the yes with doubt, you diminished it. You diminish the power of what you're putting in the quantum field, in your form of your word, in the form of the spoken word, in the form of your thought, and diluting it. And so now you're giving these counter things that now the instructions are muddied. Your yes doesn't mean yes
It's
anymore.
not a clear signal.
Your yes doesn't mean yes anymore. It means maybe, meh. And so it doesn't have the
The
energy.
universe is listening and said, was that yes? Was that right? It's looking like. Okay, but this person over here is very clear on what they want. Yes, you are. Here you go.
So you have to give clear instructions in order to get the result. And that's something that I've learned. You have to be clear. And when that fear comes up, you say, I have to remember that there's no such thing as fear. I made that up. I made that up. I made it up based on what I thought safety meant. Safety needed to be. And so it's a practice. It's a practice until it's no longer a practice and it's just a life.
Until it's just the way you roll. When you roll like this, because you go all over the world. Mods, if you can check and see if anyone wants to come up on stage and ask Dr. Jew any questions in the Clubhouse room, you're more than welcome to do this. Let's go to travel, because this is a big one for a lot of people, and we travel all over the globe, and we never have any issue whatsoever going anywhere we've said yes to. It doesn't matter about money. It doesn't matter about VATs. It doesn't matter about pills. It doesn't matter about requirements. It doesn't matter about papers, visas, passports. None of that matters. Your yes lands you there, and it's a gentle landing. So I just want to talk a little bit about travel, because this seems to be something that people are really, really concerned about, right? Oh my God, I gotta need that. You've been traveling all this time. I've been traveling all this time. Go to Egypt all the time. You're always traveling the world. You called me a couple of years ago and said, hey, Val, I often joke with people that, friends would call you and say, hey, you want to go to the club? You want to go to this? My friends like Dr. Jubilee calls and say, hey, you want to go to China and Hong Kong? Yeah.
Right?
Want to go to Egypt? That's how Dr. Jubilee rolls. And I was like, yes, like I could feel it. My passport did not have 6 months validity on it. So I had to go get my passport renewed. My passport did not have 6 months validity on it. I did not have my visa. I had to go apply and get it. Got it all like that. I went to Washington, D.C. I got my passport like that, renewed, picked it up the next day or the same day, something like that, a few hours. It clicked. It just click, click, click. Here's the picture. Here's the passport. And then next day, Chinese embassy, click. Okay, here's the paper. It's almost like it really is that something above is just making everybody stamp everything approved. And they just move you through. Now, other people in the office will start having problems. Maybe they don't have their correct paperwork. Never did I ever have any of it. When I come out the passport office and when I come out the visa, the embassies, I always feel like the angels just stood over the person and say, stamp approved.
Right?
It flows. It's so far above where I used to operate. I used to have all these papers, and now when that paper's not right, and I used to know in my mind, here again, it begins with a thought, that before I was going into some official office, there was going to be a problem with my paperwork, or it was going to take a long time, or there was going to be bureaucracy or red tape, and I don't experience any of that with the soul yes. So can you talk about how is it that you can travel all these places, China, Hong Kong, all back and forth to Egypt at will, and people are afraid to go to the corner? Hot mic, Queen Hadassah, hot mic, Queen Hadassah, Dr. B, thank you, gracias. How are you able to do that? How does that happen? When I know people that are stuck in their houses right now, want to go to Mexico, want to go to Ghana, want to go to fill in the blank, and sitting in their house. They just don't say yes.
That's it. That is it. They just don't say yes. That's it. I mean,
You mean it's
just
not
that
about the
simple.
money or the passports or the vax or the
It's not
mandates
about the money
or
or the passport. It's saying yes and then taking the next step. So if saying yes and taking the next step is looking for flights, if saying yes and taking the next step is putting down a deposit, if saying yes or taking the next step is, packing your bag, it's saying yes and meaning it and doing the next thing, the next logical thing, based on how to get there. So if you're going on a trip, you're going to pack a bag. If it's so funny. I buy one-way tickets a lot of times.
I always buy one-way tickets. It's usually the ticket that I buy is one way.
Yeah, I buy one-way tickets a lot of times. So it's I say yes, and then I'll buy a one-way ticket to affirm my yes. So I say, okay, I know I'm there now.
Now I'm in. I'm committed.
I'm in. So when I get there, I just had to get out.
And you know what's so funny about one-way tickets? Your soul is always going to take you to the next place. So I've never gotten left or stuck anywhere. People are too afraid to even buy a one-way ticket. They have to see how they're going to get in and see how they're going to get out. Buy the one-way ticket and go on the adventure.
Yeah, you always able to get out. Just be clear, just like anything else. Just like anything else. I mean, just like one of my favorite things to do is to go to sold out concerts. They say, "Oh, sold out," and I go down there the day of the performance.
You love to go to sold out concerts. Okay, this is a new spiritual practice. Go to sold out concerts.
It's sold out.
Sold out. Not one seat in the house.
And so I go down there and to the box office. Oh, sorry, man, we're sold out. I was like, okay. We may have some people who may not show up. Okay. And either someone in the line will give me a ticket, not me have pay for a ticket. Give me a ticket. I've had that happen so many times. It's unreal. Here, I have an extra ticket. My friend didn't show up. Here, you want to go? Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, but if you wasn't down there, you wouldn't have got it because you sat at home and saw that it said sold out. You went, sold out.
Yeah. I remember one time, I'm a Washington Nationals baseball fan. And that one time they were in the playoffs really good, and I wanted to go to the playoffs, and it's like, oh, I want to go. And they had this huge line for tickets. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go anyway. Go because I want to be there. I don't want to watch that television. I want to be there. And I got in line and I got my ticket, and the guy closed the window after I got my ticket. He says, "Ma'am, you have the last." I'm like, thank you. Stuff like that happens
all the time.
Yes.
People don't think that spirituality is practical. They think it's just some meditation you do in the morning and then you go about your whole life.
Like playing around with it, just saying, just proving my yes. You get to prove your yes. And so, I have a coaching practice, and I also have, a class that I have, and we go on retreats. And one of our first retreats, there was someone in the group who has children and didn't have all the funds to get there. And she was like crying and just distraught about the whole situation. And so after our call, I talked to her directly, and I said, look, this is what you need to do. I said, you need to say yes and mean it. You need to see yourself there. You need to see yourself enjoying the space, enjoying the experience.
Pull your suitcase out. I don't understand how people
start packing.
If you're going somewhere, aren't you going to pack a suitcase?
Mm-hmm. Start packing, and you will find someone to take care of your children. Know that you will find someone to take care of your children, and that you're going to be on that plane. And she was at the retreat.
Of course.
And she was like, and to this day, I mean, that was a life-changing experience for her because she got evidence. It wasn't magic. It was evidence. It was the miracle, changing fear to love. And so that's what the miracle is all about, changing our fear-based ones into love or God-aligned thinking that I am abundant. I have everything. I can do anything in alignment with God's will. And God's will is that you're omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. you have the fullness thereof. And so as soon as you're aligned with that,
Blessings, Rosa, you have a hot mic. Tap mute on your phone. Thank you so much.
and so as soon as you're aligned with that, it's
It's game over.
it's game over. I mean, I have so many people around me who demonstrate this on a daily basis. I'm fortunate in that I've surrounded myself with people who are demonstrative.
Look, my daughter is saying that we were talking about her the other day, Dr. Jiwa, and how her experience with Best and the seafood, the shellfish. And I love this. So she's saying, OMG, a one-way ticket is bringing so much fear for me.
We're planners, for people who are planners. Oh my gosh. You had to
You
plan
are
every last
scared
detail.
of somebody like that? Tell them one-way ticket.
Yeah, that's a lot of a faith walk. And that's exactly what it is. It's a faith based on surety, certainty.
Yeah. Yes.
It's faith, it's not faith, empty faith. It's faith based on certainty. You say yes and mean it, it will follow.
It has to follow. It's the law. It has to. Right? We don't understand we're working with the law. Talk to us, Harmony.
Well, my sister, she asked me after my surgery, she opened up 3 businesses, brick and mortar businesses, during the global meditation, 2 wine stores and a coffee shop. And after I didn't tell my immediate family that I was having surgery because I didn't want the fear energy surrounding me during that time. And so after I had surgery, I called my sister and I was like, I just got a tummy tuck and a butt lift. And her immediate response was, how am I running all of these businesses and I am broke with no time and you're just sitting there with no job, traveling the globe, got a new car, got a tummy tuck and a BBL with no job? I'm doing something wrong. Explain this to me here. And I had no explanation but God. I'm like, I'm sustained by the love of God. Like, I had no other explanation besides everything that I've done or everything that I'm doing. I just gave it my yes. I did not ask how, or I didn't concern myself with that information. When I sat down on the plane coming back from Miami and was sitting next to a plastic surgeon who asked me if I was an influencer and offered me a huge discount, it was an immediate yes. And I can already tell it was one of the best decisions of my life. I feel fabulous. But it's just funny how people think that you have to have that job. And something that Dr. Jiwa said that was so powerful to me was like, yeah, the pandemic was a gift because so many people did say no to the box, no to the hamster wheel. And a lot of people got off. Like, you can't go anywhere in Ohio without seeing a help wanted sign, nowhere. And it's unfortunate, but fortunate at the same time. It's fortunate for everyone who decided to live out their own dreams, their own best life. And I'm just so grateful for it all. And I'm complete.
Thank you, Harmony.
Yeah. So continue.
So the real monkey panda, the real monkey panda, as how you get rid of intrusive thoughts. You don't get rid of them. You make a decision not to have them.
Can you say that again? So the question on YouTube from our beautiful love tuber, the real monkey panda, is how do you get rid of intrusive thoughts? And the answer is?
You make a decision not to have them.
Because people think that their mind is in control.
Right. You're giving more autonomy to your mind. You're thinking that your mind is an entity that is a living, breathing thing that controls you. But you are the living, breathing thing that controls your mind. And so you get to say as to, if intrusive thought comes in, you can choose to focus on what you're grateful or thankful, or, you can do things like that. You can focus on loving things that you appreciate. What do you appreciate in that moment? Keep it in the moment, because most, if not, all thoughts that are fearful have everything to do with past or future projections. nothing but present moment. So in the present moment, you can just evaluate what's going on. I'm appreciative for this glass of water that I have right here. I really love drinking water in the morning because I'm so dehydrated with this dry heat in Michigan.
Let me drink some water too. Down here in this beautiful, wonderful humidity of Cozumel, Mexico.
Yeah. And so you see, I'm equipped. I'm grateful for this leopard hoodie that my mom gave me to make sure that I'm warm in Michigan.
And I'm grateful for this sports bra top that I can walk out with. That's it in this beautiful Cozumel weather. So wherever you are, you can be grateful.
Yeah, I'm grateful for this house that I helped renovate. I mean, I get to look at what I helped create from nothing. And so each day I'm reminded of how creative I am. And so, those kind of things, you just got to be grateful in the moment. Gratitude, an attitude of gratitude is what helps those get rid of those intrusive thoughts.
And there's a beautiful tool also available to us. I call it PBG. Pause, breathe, go within. Just breathe, and you can do it anywhere. You can do it in Starbucks. You can do it in the store. You can do it in a car. Let me just breathe, because for me, breathing, is an opportunity for me to come right here, right now, and in the now. There is no problem. There is no problem in the now.
Yeah.
Helpful. So we got Dia on Clubhouse. Dia, you're next. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I'm glad I was able to get on. I have an appointment in a few minutes, so I'm going to be brief. But I was just going to appreciate you both. And thank you, Dr. Val, for inviting Dr. Jula to speak with us today. I had her on my mind since you mentioned her a few days ago. So her page has actually been on the front page of my computer. So when you said we had a special guest, that immediately came to my mind before I saw that was actually her going to be here. So I was glad about that. And the comment that I had was just in reference to today's idea. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. The thing that came to mind to me, just in how to get that in my head, was when I was in the military, we learned that there was a thing called cycle syncing, where when a bunch of females are all in the same place together doing things, eventually their cycles begin to sync so that they're all on their cycles around the same time. And I was just thinking that was just something that I can't see it, but I know it's happening because I've learned it, and that just helped me to see today's idea in a more concrete form, because my first tendency is to think of that idea in the negative, and I could immediately think about all the negative things that I'm seeing that I could say that other people are experiencing with me. But I want to start focusing on that idea in the positive. So I'm really, really pushing myself as we go through these day by day to start focusing on how these ideas are manifesting into my life from the positive end. So when you all started talking about the travel, I was like, yeah, we are all starting to cycle sync in our thoughts, because the desire is there for me to travel with you all, because I've been learning languages since I was in third grade, and I've always had a desire to go to these other countries. But like we were saying earlier about things being fear-based, because of the way that I was brought up, my mother being a fearful person, she instilled in me that fear, even though I still had that sense of adventure. And because my sense of adventure was a little stronger than her fear, I was able to join the military and do a lot of things and experience a lot of things, but I still had that desire to travel. And I feel like that's what really pulled me toward being with Reverend Val, because I saw her as the woman that I wanted to be in my future, to be able to just let go of attachment to all of the things and be able to travel without that fear. So I said, you know, I say it every day, but I'm just so happy about how each day everything is building upon the previous day. And like Dr. Ju said, this is the instruction manual. And I feel like I have spent 46 years of my life looking for this instruction manual, and when it was first presented to me years ago, I wasn't ready for it. But this time, I know beyond a shadow of doubt, I'm ready for it, and I look forward to going forth with all of you all. And I'm complete.
Wow. And Dia, thank you so much for saying that, because I want everyone to understand something from the perspective of seeing people who inspire you. I see a lot of people who inspire me. They're not doing it for me to look up to them. They're doing it because they've said yes. Yes, myself, Dr. Jiwa, a lot. We've said yes. And that's only to be inspiration for you to say yes to your thing too, whatever it looks like for you. Right? So I hear a lot of people say, I want to be just like you when I grow up. No, you don't. You want to be just like you when you grow up, the real you. The real you. Because the real you is free. The real you is love. The real you is in perfect bliss. Now, the stunt double.
The stunt double. I like that.
The stunt double, you know, has some other things going on. The real you, oh my God. Wow. If people knew how good it is to be free, they would jump up and do it right now. We would jump up and do it right now. You know something funny, Jiwa, about these one-way tickets? And how terrifying the one-way tickets can be. Let me tell you all a very fascinating story about a one-way ticket. When Veronica graduated from high school, she's now a junior. Can you believe it already? She's a junior, halfway through her junior year. Next year, she'll be a senior in college. So when she graduated from high school, I told her that I was going to take her to Paris, because that was a big dream. Remember, we went to Paris for her graduation, right? And I told my son, because my son, Corey Evans, everybody knows he's an artist, and him going to the Louvre Museum is like a dream come true. He got lost in the Louvre. I mean, he took thousands of pictures. He was like this in the Louvre. Because he could tell what he was looking at, you know, with the painters, the composition, the paint, and how did they do this? He could tell the astoundingness of the Louvre. I was all in the Egypt section, you know, like, oh, looking at all the, you know, everything. There's so much in the Louvre. You can stay in the Louvre for days. Well, he also brought his friend, his beautiful friend, Melissa. So I treated everybody. I treated us, right? The four of us to Paris. And I took we bought one-way tickets, because that's what I did. So I don't know when we're coming back. You know, we're gonna buy one-way tickets. Nobody got to be anywhere. We don't have jobs. Nobody. Right. Grade school is over for you. You graduated, and she graduated with honors. You know, she had all the sashes. So anyway, here we are. Bought the one-way tickets for all four of us to go to Paris, and then got the beautiful, cute Airbnb apartment right in the area we wanted to be in Paris. You know, all these different zones in Paris.
Right.
Well, we were in a really good one where we could get to every place really quickly and all that. And so I paid for the Airbnb. I didn't pay attention, Jiwa, to the return tickets home for four people. I wasn't paying attention. I was just going about my business. We having fun. We going all over Paris, Eiffel Tower, at the top of Eiffel Tower, sipping champagne. Woo, woo, woo. We living our great Paris life. A few days before it was time to go, I just said, let me look up, you know, return tickets for four people going to Paris.
Oh my gosh.
And while it was super duper cheap for us to get there, it was not super duper cheap for us to get back. Oh, damn. $7,000. Right?
Wow.
$7,000 for us to get back home from Paris. I'm like, okay. And I'm seeing if I could move the dates and whatnot. I'm like, oh my, it was like triple what we spent to get there, right? On the one-way ticket. Couldn't do nothing, couldn't move anything. And guess what happened? Just before we left, I got a check for $12,000, direct deposit in my bank account for $12,000. $7,000 wasn't an issue, and it was still 5,000 plus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what people think they're doing. I don't think people know that we're dealing with the creator of the whole entire universe. I don't think people, I think we're just so busy looking at our own damn tiny little bank account. I don't care how big your bank account is, it's still tiny when you look at God.
Right.
We don't think we're dealing with ultimate source. We think we're dealing with, like you said, we're projecting ourselves on God.
Exactly. You know, what I was told was that you're standing in the corner, thinking that this is your whole world, and behind you is everything.
And why would I not think that God would get the four of us back from Paris back home? Like, well, you know, and I knew that the greater me knew, but you know, there was the little niggling doubts, like, oh my goodness, what's you know, the little the bigger me was clear. We're going to Paris. We're coming, and we're coming home. And that remains one of the biggest gifts of our lives, one of the greatest experiences of our life. My daughter, we still talk about it. It was years ago. We still talk about it. Let's go to Jennifer. You got a few more minutes, Jiwa, or you got to run?
Yeah, I have a few more.
Okay, got a few more. Jennifer, you're up next. We're on Clubhouse, so by all means, join on Clubhouse. And I always say, every morning I say this, we're not about 1 million followers. We're about billions of engagers. We're not here for you to just follow. We're here for you to engage in the conversation, engage your soul, engage your spiritual practices, get all in. As you heard Dr. Jiwa say earlier, each step you've got to decide to take it. You've got to decide to take this. So you can't just sit and watch a video and just get it, or just sit on Clubhouse and just listen. That's not going to get it there. You've got to actively engage your unfoldment. So get in there, have conversation, share it with people, speak about it, be on it during the day, be on your exercises during the day. Let's go to Jennifer. Jennifer, how you loving? Jennifer, can you unmute? You are up next on Clubhouse.
Hi.
Hey, how you loving?
I got on late this morning because I'm in California. I woke up at 5:15. So, but usually I just listen to the replay, but I'll listen to it later. But anyways, yeah, so I didn't hear the beginning part, but I'm in a private practice as a therapist, and I just got my license like last February, and I already had some clients before that under a supervisor, but then I opened my own business and private practice. And like the month after, I joined this course that helps you to raise your fees. It's called like Lean In, Make Bank. It helps you to raise your fees and get off insurance panels. And I went through like the whole course, and I did, you know, this like no cancellation policy. Like I raised some fees, lost some clients because they weren't able to pay the fee. I decided not to go on an insurance panel and all this stuff. But in the summer, I think the income like increased a bit. It increased a bit, but I noticed I'm doing my quarterly taxes now, and I saw, you know, yesterday that it's reduced, and my caseload has been kind of like dwindling, and I've noticed some patterns. And for a while, I would get some clients that were booking, and then they would just like maybe ghost me after that, or not fill out the intake paperwork, or like decide not to do it for whatever reason. And so I had that like pattern going on for quite a while. And then more recently, like I had a client just do like 1 or 2 sessions. Like I had one that didn't pay me because he got kind of pissed off about I like forgot the keys to go to the office, and so I ended up being late. And then I had somebody like write me a bad review, and I think.
Question, so Jennifer, I have a quick question for you. Do you really want to be doing this? What you're doing?
Well, I I do enjoy doing therapy, but I feel
that sounds like a no, because you said I do enjoy doing therapy, but that doesn't sound like yes, I love it. I jump out of bed to do it.
It is like, you know, a blessing oftentimes to be able to provide this stuff for, you know, like.
That's all true. That's all true. But do you want to be doing what you're doing?
I do, but there's a lot of
there's no but to what you really want, right? There's no but to it. There's no but to what you really want to be doing. Like you say too. You ever see that? Did you ever see that show, Jennifer, on TV about that chocolatier? He's on Netflix.
And I love that show.
That man was blowing my mind every show. And then I made a shark out of chocolate. And then I made a forest out of chocolate. And then I made a treasure box out of chocolate. I'm like, my brain could not even compute watching that man. If you look at him, and this is the level of mastery that everyone has in them for their thing. If you look at that man, you don't even think to ask, do you want to be working with chocolate? Would you even ask him that? Would you ask him that?
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm sure when that man goes to sleep at night, he's not having dreams. I don't think he has fantasies with women. Maybe he has women or men or whatever his jam is. I think he has fantasies of chocolate. I think I'm going to make a chocolate. He's probably swimming in chocolate in his dreams. I mean, this man is the chocolate man. This man is easy. Gee, what? Have you ever seen anyone do those things?
I was astonished. A girlfriend of mine told me about that show, and I was like, "You what?" She was trying to describe it to me. She just go look at it. You just had to watch the show.
And Veronica followed him on Instagram. I didn't find out about him from the show. I found out about him from Instagram. Veronica was like, "Yeah, this is my favorite, one of her favorite Instagrammers because she's big into food and she loves Gordon Ramsay and all that." So she found him on Instagram, and she would show me his Instagram stuff. I would be like, "No way, no." He's making a panda out of chocolate. His Instagram will have you you saying that's not possible. Right. But you see him doing it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Would you think to ask that man? So Jennifer, would you think to ask that man? Do you really want to do what you're doing? Do you see that by the very fact that you're eliciting this question is the answer? No one would ask him that.
With therapy, there's a lot of restrictions.
Pause. Yes, beloved. Mm-hmm. We're talking beyond therapy. There's a lot of restrictions with everything. Mm-hmm. As many restrictions as you want to. I'm sure there's a lot of restrictions with making food, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't there?
Different. Yeah, there's a lot of restrictions. You know, you can say that there's supply chain problems. You can say that there are health code problems. You can make up problems, and that's what she's trying to get to you to understand, Jennifer, that you're making up problems.
Okay. Well, when I was thinking about going into like either going to a social work master's program,
it's very interesting what you said. It's very interesting what you said, and I love this, Jennifer. I love that you're sharing. You said I was thinking of going into this or that. I was thinking. You said it accurately, right? When I was thinking to go into this or to that, and Dr. Jewett teaches in her book, in Core Perfectum, and in her work, it's coming from here, the heart. You might not be able to see me on Clubhouse. The heart is what's leading. My head is behind my heart. Is this helping? Is it connecting the dots? Like when I said, do you really want to be doing? Mm-hmm. Like pause for a moment. Here's the question. Like when you were in your heart and soul, you know what you want to be doing. In my heart, I love writing. I was working on my book yesterday, this first novel that I'm writing, and I'm just like, ooh, I'm just like, ooh. It's like, ooh, when I'm speaking, my thing is to write and speak. That's my thing. That's what I heard from Spirit. Write, speak. That's what I really want to be doing. Writing, and I love being on stage, and Jiwa can tell you, and everybody can tell you that on stage, that's my jam. That's my jam. That's not everybody's jam. Write, speak. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to wonder, is this what I should be doing? I don't have to try to figure out how to get paid from it. I don't have to try to figure out what to do with the clients. I don't have to take a course on it. I got to follow the heart. It knows everything. So when I'm on that path of love, pure love, it shows me what to write. It shows me how to create a book. It shows me everything. I mean, it shows me everything. It shows me things that I don't even know about creating books. And then how to profit from books. I don't know any of that. It shows me. So that's why I asked you if this is really what you want to be doing. It's another way of saying, are you on the path of love? Do you love it?
I definitely love parts about it, but I think coaching might be a better option for me because I really like nutrition. And I've been like a raw vegan for a while. I've been like high raw vegan and into that. And with therapy, you can't really talk about nutrition too much. And, you can't see people that you know are out of state, things like that. And what else about it?
Well, you sound very similar to when I was a financial advisor at American Express. There were parts of it that I loved. Yeah. I loved interacting with my clients. I loved having clients. I didn't love the regulations. I didn't love the compliance officer. I didn't love the paperwork. I didn't love it. Yeah. There was an aspect of it that I did love, the people that would come in and we would sit and talk for 2-3 hours about their financial situation and about their life and their children and their this and their that. I didn't know I was doing spiritual life coaching right there in a financial planning setting. So the financial planning, it was for a season. It was part of the curriculum. I didn't love it. I loved aspects. That wasn't what I was on the planet to do. And I love what Spirit gave me from it and what I learned from it and what I'm able to share with other people about what I learned from it. So it sounds like, yeah, you can love aspects of it. It's like a bullseye. When you are bullseye 100% on what you love, like that dude making chocolate, like, gee, we're doing what?
I life coach. I coach people on universal law and mindset.
And when you're in there with them at a retreat and you're going in with their issues, don't you eat that stuff for breakfast, Jiwa?
I live this every day. I mean, it's part of what I am and part of what I do. It's not even, I don't even feel it's separate from me. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's not something you do.
It's not something I do. It's just something that I do. I live every day, and this just an extension of that living. I live every day.
I ask you, do you love it? Do you love it? Well, we don't have to ask that.
Yeah, I do. I mean, yeah.
What's better than that, right, for you?
In the comments, there was a comment from Lock Vibes that says, sometimes when you go through years of school for a career path, it's hard to believe Spirit is leading you in another direction. So Jennifer, when I listen to you, I have to laugh because, and laugh from a place of remembering of being in that place of where you are. And, you're looking for security. That's this whole question is all about safety and security. How do I generate money without going through insurance, which pays abysmal amount of money? I want to be a cash practice so I can get paid my quote unquote worth. And so so the question keeps continuing about getting paid, people not showing up, people being disgruntled, people, ghosting, not paying. So the whole issue of safety and security is the main issue. It's not your practice.
Can you say that again, Jiwa? Because there are people that are looking for houses so they can have safety and security. Mm-hmm. There are people looking for jobs so they can have safety and security. And there are people who are trying to structure their financial planning practice, their coaching practice, their mental health practice so they can have safety and security. What is
Yeah.
this really about? What's really going on?
It's about your consciousness around money and what it means and to be safe around money. I have a friend who is a hairdresser, and okay, so let me just say this. She started she grew up in West Virginia and she moved to California. Her first hairdressing gig was in this all-exclusive Beverly Hills salon, and she got the gig because someone didn't show up that day. She happened to show up meeting a friend in the salon and got the job because she, there was a space, and her level of consciousness was that was suitable to that space. So she charges thousands of dollars for hairstyles and cuts, and she travels the world with celebrities and all that stuff because her consciousness is at the level that that's what she can bring in. You're only able to bring in what your consciousness allows. And so no course or no structure or no rules or anything else in your practice is going to bring in the money that you seek. The problem is your consciousness and what you think you deserve or what you're worth. It's a worthiness issue that you're dealing with, not a practice issue.
Yeah, I have a hypnosis session scheduled for the first time tomorrow to look at this stuff. But part of what I don't like about therapy is that it's so tied to the pharmaceutical industry, and I'm really not into the pharmaceutical industry. But yet we're supposed to recommend medication.
Well, my question is this. Here's the question that's coming forth from me, and I'm going to ask it exactly as I'm hearing it. In what level of self-loathing would I have to be to hold myself in a place that I do not want to be and do not love? That's the question I'm hearing coming forth, and that's for me. I'm offering it to you as well. I'm looking at the areas of my life where I'm holding myself that I do not love. Well, what level of self-loathing would I have to be to hold myself in a place that I do not want to be and do not love? Wow. There's a part of me that must be in self-loathing that's holding me here. I don't want to be here and I don't love it. And I'm staying voluntarily.
Yeah. When I first, I tried to do health coaching. I'm using that first try. For a while, I actually did do a lot of consults with people when I had like a space between jobs, and I was trying to build that, and it didn't pan out. But I did do consults with a number of people, and I was excited about it. But I was thinking about trying it again because I saw a friend of mine has some a plant-based health coaching clubhouse. And
well, let me ask you this, Jennifer.
Yeah.
What do you really, really, really want to be doing? What do you really, deep in your heart and soul, what do you really want to be doing? And it's okay to say, I don't know, I have no clue. That's okay too.
When I saw her clubhouse, I was kind of excited about it, and I want to make my own clubhouse, change mine to be more about plant-based coaching.
But we're talking deep in your heart and soul. What is it? And that could be maybe going in nature and really getting still and really getting clear. It seems like you're right at the doorway of saying, I realize that I have some discontent with what I'm doing, which is this beautiful signal to say, okay, let me move along, or let me look at it and maybe go deep into the woods or sit by a river. I like to sit by rivers, or I like to go on a mountain and just sit there and ask, what is really going on with me? Ask, and what is it I really am here for, am called to, and let it unfold, let the answers come. Because I find that in this very busy world, you wouldn't have a Clubhouse, if we were just 20 years ago, if we were just 10 or 20 years ago, you wouldn't have a Clubhouse, you wouldn't have had a Facebook, you wouldn't have anything to look at to determine, oh, I like that, what they're doing. So it can't be that, right? All your answers have to come within. You wouldn't have had that.
I had already started it, you know, like I have an Instagram for
we're still on step 2, 3, 4, 5. And what the invitation from Spirit is, if you like, is to begin at ground zero. Begin within, begin with the mind and consciousness, and ask, what am I here for? What? Because I hear you say a lot of things. I mean, they can all be wonderful. I don't know. Get in there. What's real for me? What do I love? What do I love? And give yourself permission to be on what you love. And stop holding yourself in places where you get 20% of what you love. You know where I was? I was holding myself in American Express for 2 years after I got the message. I got the message after 5 years to sell my financial planning practice. In other words, I had garnered from this thing the lessons that were required for me to go on. And for 2 years, I held myself in that place because I was like, now, wait a minute, God, I'm getting paid. I have prestige. When I walk in the door and tell people I'm a financial advisor, they listen. They're impressed. I'm impressible. You know, I mean, come on, fuck it. All that is stupidity. Stupidity. You know, okay, whatever. But you're not happy. You're not happy. And you know you're not happy. And your soul is calling you to write the book, get the publisher, publish the books. Right.
You know what's funny is I just wrote a book, but it was through a company that reached out to me. So it was like their idea. And they had the outline. They paid me a flat fee for it. And so it's coming out in a couple months. And now they want me to write another one. But it's probably better to do it on my own.
I would say for you, Jennifer, and where you are and your unfoldment is really beautiful. It sounds like begin within. Begin within. I don't know. What would you offer, Dr. Jiwa?
There are a lot of buts in the statements that you say. That's the thing that I noticed. Okay. You say a lot of buts. And I'm sure you understand the ramifications of that. I can hear it when you say it because you hesitate when you say but. And you understand what that means, that you're erasing everything in front that you said in front of that but. And only what remains is what's after. And so I would like for you to examine what you're saying and use and instead of but and see how that feels. Okay. I'm doing and and see how that feels. You know, the conjunction of those two statements to tie it together. And if it doesn't feel right, then you have a choice. Which side of the conjunction are you going to choose? Are you going to choose the side that's the first part before the and, or the second part after the and? You know, and that's what I would suggest. You have to understand that all the limitations and everything that you're placing, that you say that are out there, are all constructs, mental constructs. Because there are people doing things in therapy. There are people doing things around nutrition. There are people doing things in private practice and cash practices. There are people in Clubhouse that are having no issues whatsoever. And it's easy, safe, and successful for them based on their consciousness. And so your level of consciousness is what I'm asking you to tune into, and how it feels to say the things that you're saying. And that would be a starting point as to where you are and what you really are resonating with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you sound like a smart cookie. So, you know, and I find that in my practice, smart cookies are always the hard ones to coach because they think they can outsmart their consciousness.
That was me. Mama Ia told us, our group, because it was a bunch of doctors and financial advisors and lawyers and all that. She said, y'all have highly evolved egos. think you're going to outsmart God. You're too smart for your own good. Oh.
Yeah. So, that intellect is worldly intellect. And you're going to have to empty your cup and fill it with spiritual intellect and allow spirit to come in and inform you. And the surest way of being informed is looking at the information that's out pictured and you've noticed patterns. So that's the first step for you. But now also how that makes you feel. That's the second step. How does your information make you feel? And be honest with it.
Like I'm not good enough.
Yeah. And it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with, it has everything to do, okay, let me just change that. It does have everything to do with that. It has everything to do with you feeling unworthy and separate from source, separate from God, and not feeling worthy of that connection. And so you feel like you have to do things or make things happen on your own. I'm going to take a course and figure out how this money thing works. I'm going to do XYZ and figure out how this works. I'm going to go on Clubhouse and do, all these things I'm going to figure out on how these work without really listening to where you're guided and knowing that the information is yours because you are an effect of God. You are God's creation. And as an effect of God, you also are a creator. And so you can use your creative energies in alignment with God's will, as opposed to what you think will make you safe.
Ooh, that safety, it's a big one. That safety, security. We want to be so safe and secure. And we have a lot of ideas on what we think is going to make us safe and secure. More money is going to make me safe and secure. A good career is going to make me safe and secure. A solid coaching practice or therapeutic practice is going to make me safe and secure. A house is going to make me safe and secure. A boo, being married to a husband or a wife or whatever is going to make me safe and secure. Don't we have a lot of ideas, Dr. G, on what we think?
Yeah, we have a huge amount of ideas. And Taya was saying in the comments that I always like to come from a place of what would you be doing if money was not a concern? So that's another place to start too. That's another question to ask. What would you be doing if money was not a concern? If you didn't have to worry about paying the rent or anything else, what would you be doing? And that was a conversation that took many years for me. I'm going to be honest about it. It took many years because I just wouldn't give up the idea that I invested all this time and energy in my degrees and that these should be of some use. And so when I came to the realization that what I was doing was actually hampering me and causing me to stay stuck as opposed to evolve, it got too painful. Way too painful. And I started doing things that I started coaching in mindset opposed to bodily things. People want to come to me with, bodily concerns. I always bring it back to mind because that's where everything begins and ends. And so I realized that I'm a mindset coach. I fell into it naturally based on what the conversation always went to. For me, for you, it's maybe something different. But just notice where your conversation and where it leads to. When you're having conversations with your clients, where does it lead to? Mine, after a while, my clients came in for chiropractic adjustments. I'm trained as a chiropractor. But we spent most of the time in my office, and I was one of those rare chiropractors that spent time with their clients. I wasn't like a factory chiropractor where, you have stations and you have chiropractic assistants taking you off and on machines, and then you see the chiropractor for maybe 10, 15 minutes, that much. I spent 45 minutes to an hour with each of my clients, always, and because I did everything in my practice at that point, because I just enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it. But after a while, I stopped enjoying being a mechanic, a bodily mechanic, and got more interested in the machinations of the mind and what was causing subluxation. Chiropractors adjust bone out of place, subluxation. Well, what causes that? Your thoughts cause. because your thoughts cause your nervous system to respond in a certain way. And when your nervous systems respond in a fight or flight way, you have elevated breathing, shortened breathing, elevated heart rate, elevated blood pressure, digestion shuts off, your muscles that are running for running or fighting are on guard. Digestion is not a priority when you're running and fighting, so that gets shut down. Your brain gets heightened in activity, cortisol gets elevated, adrenaline gets elevated. And so all these things are happening when you're in a fight or flight response based on your thinking. And so I stopped being a body mechanic and started going to root cause and helping people address root cause, which is always what you're thinking about. And I seem to attract women who are entrepreneurs. I seem to attract women who are highly educated. And I guess because that's what I have been, educated and an entrepreneur. And I understand that, you've invested so much of your life in attaining the status and the position or the degrees, but none of that means anything if your thing is stinking. None.
It means nothing. It means nothing. Christ had a way of putting that too, because I love how the Bible and the Course say the same thing. He said, what benefit is it to a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul?
Mm-hmm.
You have everything now except your soul.
Right.
But you arrived. That's success.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a fun game. The game of life is a fun game, and I enjoy it. I enjoyed it. And this week was an interesting week for me. Valerie can attest to that. It was an interesting week and a very evolutionary week for me, because I got to examine things that I didn't know were issues, because I had been sitting in it for so long. I had acclimated to the environment of those issues, and they were illuminated for me. And I'm thankful for the mess, and I'm thankful for the cleanup.
Ooh, you have to have a level of presence to your life, right, Jiwa? Presence to what is going on, presence to the moment, presence to what is Spirit saying. For me, it just takes a level of presence that is getting more and more challenging to have in today's world of full of distractions and more coming online every time we turn around, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Journey Divine is funny. She
Journey
says she's
Divine always has so many wonderful comments. I love that.
running around waving that white hanky. Thank you for that. And thank you, Amir, for your comment, dessert to a perfect meal. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I love that. Before we go to our card for the day, and Jennifer, we're going to see you in Miami, yes, because Miami is our next experience, family. On 222, we have an incredible 222 quantum activation at this beautiful space in Miami, where we'll be on 222, February 22nd. It's at ValerieLove.com. Click on global events. Or if you're in the room in Clubhouse, just tap on the link at the very top. You're going to see 222 activation event for quantum manifestation. We're going into the quantum physics aspects of manifestation and how quantum physics aligns with spirituality. That's on 222 of 222. And then that week, we're also having Never Work Again, where we bring together the spiritual concepts and financial concepts. That's one of my favorite things to do and talk about. So we're going to be talking about passive income strategies with crypto. First, we have to address the consciousness, and then how to never work again, how to actually have income coming into passive income daily from crypto, and many opportunities for that. And if you're in Ascension, you get this retreat half price, and you have the link for it. And then in April, we'll be in Dubai, and January 24th marks the last day that you can get a 3 payment plan for Dubai, including when you come to Dubai, we're taking care of your accommodations. Included in your registration for Dubai is your accommodations, as well as a trip to the desert. We'll be going to the desert, as well as we'll be visiting the Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi, as well as going to the top of the tallest building in the world, Burj Khalifa. I think it's still the tallest building in the world, Burj Khalifa. It's up there. It's one of the tallest buildings in the world, right? And I tell you one thing, standing at the top of Burj Khalifa, there are no words. There's no words for a lot of Dubai, because Dubai is just, if you want bigger thinking, if you want richness, if you want to soak yourself in visions, possibilities coming true, go to Dubai. That's where and soaking yourself in these energies is where you really experience profound changes in consciousness. That's why Dr. Jiwa goes and meditates in temples in Egypt, right? That's why I go walking all over ancient cities and sitting in the caves and ancient cities down here in Mexico. Being in this space and being on the mountains of Peru and being in the sweat lodge of the Temescal. Be there. You can't watch 10 Egypt videos and think you have any idea what Egypt is. That people think that. They think they watch 10 Egypt videos on YouTube and okay, well that's what Egypt is. And they go away satisfied. That's not it.
Not really satisfied.
Right.
Not really.
Wow. All right, Rosa, Jennifer, is that supportive? Did that give you something to work with?
Yeah, I wanted to say to what somebody else was saying about me being in the intellect or whatever. I did have, I went to a couple EMDR therapists, and I didn't really feel like it helped at all, and that could be why.
Jennifer, I'm going to put it down to you. Can I be plain with you? Don't go to nobody else. Don't go looking on no social media for nothing. Don't ask anybody anything. You have it, beloved. You have it in yourself. And what's going to help you to access it is, of course, prayer, spirituality, our practices, meditation. If you really want to tap it and hone in, go in nature, just sequester yourself. Actually get away from all the people and all the things people say. It's wonderful. It's wonderful, all the things people are saying. It's wonderful. Go within yourself. That's where your answers are. Yes, go within yourself. Yes?
Thank you.
Beautiful. Don't see not one more person, okay?
Well, I have a hypnosis appointment tomorrow.
But I mean, I'm not telling you, what to do, because of course you got to choose on your own what to do, and you're led to what's right and perfect for you. What I know is that if you don't go within, you'll go without. Okay. All right, beloved. I love you. Rosa J. Hodge. Rosa, before you begin, because Rosa is like me, she can talk for 7 hours straight. we gotta get a brief share, okay, Rosa?
Look, I'm not going to share a whole lot except for thank you, Doctor.
Beautiful.
You are amazing. I have seen your journey. I have listened to you when you did the course. I am just pleased with who you are and how you share yourself with us. I appreciate you, girl. I was looking at your website. I remember when you first started and we're figuring it out.
You talking to Jiwa? You talking to Dr. Jiwa?
Oh yeah, she's talking to me.
I'm so proud of you. And I keep forgetting that you live in the Washington, D.C. area.
No, she doesn't.
You're not?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway,
but hey, you know how Jiwa is. She can be anywhere at any time,
She's another you. I don't try to tell you who you are. I just listen. And I want to appreciate you because I'm sure you solved a lot of people's situation this morning. And that saying yes is good, because I said yes a couple of years ago, and it can also get you in a lot of not trouble, but a lot of things. And then you have to sit back and say, what do I really want to do? What is it that I really get excited about? What is it that, as we used to say, and Val used to say it all, what is it that I would do even if I were not being paid?
Mm-hmm.
That's how much I love it. It's not about the finances. It's just about the service. And I hear that in you. I hear that in a lot of people. And Jennifer, don't worry about it. Like Val said, don't be asking a whole lot of people. It's right in you. You need to go deep in you. Because folks will give you all kinds of information that ain't really any solution. So I appreciate you both. You guys are just amazing. So I don't have anything to add. Just to thank you so very much.
Thank you, Rosa. Thank you. Long time.
I know you.
We've been on this journey for years, family. All of us been on this journey together for donkey years, okay? Like they say.
And you know what? It's just, and we stay in contact. Even when I leave here, I'm taking y'all with me.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever I show up after I leave this presence, I'm sure you'll show up in some form of fashion in the next one. Because we're on this journey, and as you always refer to the yards down in Virginia Beach, and I remember reading this concept of where we journey, and when we get to that point where we have nowhere else to go because we have received everything that we needed to learn, then we're in that total space of peace, love, and serenity. And that's what I'm looking for. So if it takes this lifetime and the next one and the next one day I won't be coming back. All the lessons that my spirit has to learn so that I can stay with God, in God, always, and help you rescue you folks get in.
Yes, I love that, Jiwa. I love that, Rosa. And Rosa, honoring Rosa as our elder, because Rosa is older than me and Jiwa, okay? Rosa is our elder. So we honor Rosa as our elder and love her so much. Rosa is part of my family. Rosa is part of my family. So I just love her, and my kids know her and they love her. She's been with us for so many years. So thank you. I appreciate your faithfulness and your loyalty and your love.
I also realize that we have not only been for years in this experience, but we've been on this journey for a very long time.
Many lifetimes. Many lifetimes.
When I met your youngest daughter, I knew her from the beginning. The first time I met her, I said, "Oh, this girl been with me all the time."
And she was a little tiny tot when you met her, right? Because now she is a junior in college. She's a junior in college. Can you believe it? She's already.
I can't wait till she gets on her journey and where she becomes who she's meant to be. Because that your kids.
I think they're older souls than me. I definitely think she's an older soul than me.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You guys have a great day, and I'm still listening. Peace and love.
Oh, I love you, Rosa. Chandra, you're up next. Let us know when you have to skedaddle.
I'm going to get some water real quick. I'm here, but I still can hear you. I'm just not on screen.
Excellent. Come on, Chandra, talk to us. How you loving?
Chandra.
Oh, Chandra.
Yes, it means moon to illuminate.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's on you. Go right ahead. And family on a Clubhouse, the only reason I have my mic open while people are speaking, because that is not a thing we do on Clubhouse, is because we have YouTube and Facebook hooked in together with Clubhouse. And this is how we are having the conversation with Dr. Jiwa Lee and having the conversation open. So that is the only reason my mic is open. I just want to acknowledge that. Continue, Chandra.
Okay, in my Louisiana voice from New Orleans, baby, when I tell you, Val, you can appreciate that because I know you go to New Orleans.
Girl, I love New Orleans.
Okay, but I'm here. I live in Virginia now, but I'm over here screaming. You can't make this God like that. You cannot make this up. Let me tell you. I'm listening to Jennifer, and Jennifer has spoken everything that I have been feeling. I'm actually in school to be a therapist, and everything that she said is right on with what I've been feeling. So I've been asking God, say, hey, give me a clear sign. Should I continue this, going to school to get this therapy for my master's? Should I continue this? And when you give me this sign, make sure it hit it in my face. It hits in my face. It hit Jennifer literally. It slapped me in my face. Everything she said, I was like, it's too restrictive. The codes, everything she said, I've gotten my answer today. And I'm like, you cannot make this God stuff up. You cannot. You ask, Spirit will give it to you in your face, raw. Here's your answer. And I'm listening, Jennifer, this is what I want to say to you. I was sitting in these courses, sitting in the classes, in the college room. My heart was not in it. If I look back at all of my journaling, I wrote in there that I want to be a marriage and family therapist. All through there, it opened up that I did not have to take the GED. I walked completely in. Got into the school, and my heart just was not in it. And I felt so bad because I was like, okay, I wrote this. So I remember recently where it says sometimes you can change directions. Even though you may ask for a thing, God said, okay, you asked for it, here it goes. But he'll give you something different. And if your heart is not in it, it's really not for you. And sometimes we'll do stuff for other people, but not for ourselves. And sometimes we'll do stuff for that title, but that's not what God wants for you. It's whatever it is you want to do naturally, and whatever it is your heart wants to do, that's where you belong. It doesn't matter. You're on this journey. And it's just, I wanted to run around the room. When I heard Jennifer on this, I was like, you cannot make this up.
You got your answer. You got your answer. Clear.
I tell you,
with clarity.
Yes. So Jennifer, ask. I'm telling you, you just gotta ask, sit, and listen. What is it? PPG?
Yes, PPG. Pause, breathe, go within. PPG.
Jennifer, PPG.
We go all PPG.
Let me tell you how this works. I say, God, make it plain, hit it in my face, because sometimes you throw me little nuggets and I just completely miss it. So on this journey, I go to school an hour away to go to this school. I have 4 cars. Why, when I ask this question, and it's getting closer to me to return, why 3 of the cars not working but 1? So my husband has to use the car that I used to go. He put that in my face. I didn't get it. Here comes Jennifer. I said, you know what? Okay, God. Okay, I'm releasing. Sometimes you have to release and just let go. But here's the funny thing, how God works. I'm an Intervision alumni.
What year?
Class of 14. But let me make you laugh, Val. You was in a ministerial school.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was one of the people who was grandfathered into the life coaching school that year.
Wow.
Me and 2 other people skipped the personal development, and we jumped right into the life coaching. Okay?
Wow.
Let me tell you
that's a lot to even be able to do that at Intervisions.
You see that? And I always tell people, you don't go to Intervision. Intervision calls you.
Intervisions comes and whips you out of where you are and says, come here. I got something for you.
It does. Yes, indeed. So let me make you laugh. So when I was there. I don't know if you know Ardella.
Yes. Minister Ardella, yes.
Yes, I was in a life coaching school with Ardella.
Okay.
And so I was sitting in the lobby, and I'm going to tell you what you had on, Val.
Uh-oh.
You came through that, and you had Bantu knots in your head, and you had on some psychedelic looking pants.
That's me.
And I remember Ardella said, there's Val right there. Hey, Val, is Val coming? Is Val? And I'm like, who is this lady Valerie? And she kept saying, I'm trying to make this quick so I can get off. She kept saying, I really want to introduce you to Val. But for some reason, we never met. Now, fast forward. 2014, I got on your live when you first talked about Bitcoin.
Wow.
You just came up and you talked about Bitcoin.
Wow.
Something in my spirit said, listen to this lady and jump in this right now. But I'm the kind of person, I'll be like, well, I'm not fully understanding it, instead of me moving in it at that point. You say, I don't know about this Bitcoin, but I feel in my spirit about this Bitcoin. I was like, okay, but Spirit was telling me to move with you then.
It was $200 when Spirit told me that.
See that?
$180, $200, somewhere around there. Yeah.
I'm just bringing to how we keep crossing. So I've been following you ever since, off and on ever since. So you said the other day, you give me the galactic code. I am a yellow galactic seed.
Ooh, yellow galactic seed. Okay.
I am your challenging gift.
Woo! That is awesome.
Not only that, you are Leo North.
Leo North Node. Yes, North Node in Leo.
I'm a Leo South in Aquarius North.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, okay, what is happening with me, Val? But at the same time, I watch you from afar and observe your life. And I have been called into this God life for several years, since I could remember being called into this. I used to literally sneak into Books A Million, and I was always drawn to the tarot cards, anything witchy, anything healing, anything like that. But I was in the Bible belt where it was evil and negative. So I developed that consciousness in that block of, this is not good. Why am I attracted to this stuff? Why is this, what's wrong with me? So full forward, I'm like, you know what, God? Yes, because I'm getting a lot of young priestesses, a lot of young women, a lot of young people that's drawn to me and my husband who has issues with their family, maybe their mother or maybe their father, or I'm seeing where God is showing me where I maybe need to be, and I'm embracing it. I want to say, family, thank you. I realize, Val, that some kind of way, in some way, around the way, through the circle, through the valley, in some other way, we are connected.
We are connected.
And we are definitely connected, and I cannot wait to finally meet you. It's funny because everything is being answered, because I keep getting the word. God told me this morning, pack your bags and get your new suitcase, pack your bag and just put it at the door. Here's Dr. Julia. I don't know if I'm saying her name right.
Dr. Jiwa, Jewa. Dr. Jiwa.
Dr. Jiwa said, pack your bag. I was like, you know what? I'm in here screaming to my husband, you can't make this up. You can't. So I'm more of a person that observes everything. I'm an energy person. I have to observe my surroundings before I open up. But I could not keep quiet today and say, God, I say yes. I listened to Rosa say, I want to learn my lessons today in this lifetime on this planet so I could go to the next. I say yes to that because I have work to do. And I'm going to resign and withdraw from this school because my answer, and I'm going to listen to God, and I'm going to move on that. Y'all, trust this process. Trust this process. I remember Mama E was like, y'all in the school with all this magic and feeling good, all that, but the work really happens when you leave.
Yes, it does.
That's what it's going to show who you are. And she always say, apply it. Don't come here and sit in all this. You have to apply this for this to work. You have to be it. You have to embody it for this to work. And sure enough, I'm saying yes to all of it. Yes. And I'm complete. And thank y'all. I just love this community.
Oh my goodness. Well, the grandmother of this community is Mama Ia, because that's my spiritual mama. So she is the grandmother of this community, and she has birthed many. She's the great mother. That's what her name means. Iyanla means great mother. So she has mothered many of us, and I'm so thankful for my master teacher. I'm so thankful because I wouldn't be the person I am if I didn't have her butt prints on my behind. Her footprints on
your behind.
Her footprints on my behind. I would not be who I am today had it not been for that. God deposited me at her doorstep, and she said, come on in here. And we got to work, and I'm beyond words about what I received and what I was reminded of and what I remembered in my intervisions process that gave me the tools, the wherewithal to call it up from within myself to do what I'm on the planet to do. And you're a master teacher as well. Incredible master teacher. Dr. Jiwa, you want to share about your master teacher as well?
Oh, yeah. My master teacher, Dr. Caroline Isis Fuqua, is an Egyptologist and author, and oh my gosh, so much to so many different people. She is the founder of Time and Flowers and Brothers. And Time is the international music exchange where people from chorale groups from all across the world come to America to experience America. They have a group called Stars, Singers Taking Action, Reaching Souls. They travel the world and perform in musical festivals and musical events. Flowers, the formidable love of women ever revealing sisterhood. And I forget what Brothers stands for, but Brothers is the male organization, and basically demonstrating God and inspiring others through our actions. And then finally, the Institute of Ancient Mysteries, Circles of Light, Institute of Ancient Mysteries, of which I am a member of. And she is my master teacher. And I don't know where I would be without her and the teachings that she's given me through A Course in Miracles. I study A Course in Miracles through an ancient Egyptian mysticism perspective. That's the only way I've studied it, and that's the way I share it. So everything that you've heard this morning is from an ancient Egyptian mysticism perspective, which is basically using universal law. It's not anything woo-woo or crazy. It's just the foundation of every philosophy and religion that we experience here on earth is ancient Egyptian mysticism. It's the foundation of everything. And so that's my master teacher.
We have to give it to all the master teachers because that's a hard job because they get a whole lot of hard-headed students.
Oh,
And
yeah.
right? They've been there 30, 40 years. They keep going. And how many lifetimes have they been doing it? So a big, big love wave to all the master teachers on the planet and the ones who have lifted up like Dr. Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay. And look at all the master teachers and Sadhguru and Muji and all the master teachers that are on the planet now simply sitting, having a conversation with us to help us get our mind right. And Eckhart Tolle, they already got their mind right. They already there. Eckhart Tolle does not have to write another book or do another video. He's just sitting smiling. Wherever Eckhart Tolle is, he's just talking and he's laughing and he's enjoying peace and bliss. He doesn't have to do another video or another event. He's doing it for us.
Right.
Exactly. Wow.
Esther Hicks would be another one. I mean, she's channeling, but she's still the vessel through which that information comes through. So yeah.
She hadn't sat down yet. Even after Jerry left the planet, he's like, okay, I'm gonna raise up. And they were like this.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry raised up off the planet. He said, I'm gonna help you from up here. And some people would have curled up in a ball and stopped.
Yeah. It's hard to do that when you really understand that there's no end, and that's, I mean, it's one way to say it, there's another way to experience it from, the idea of losing someone close to you and what that means. The whole idea of it not ending and just being in celebration where whatever they're experiencing, it's a celebration because it's their journey in evolution and they're learning and they're getting their piece of information and moving on. So yeah, all of it in divine order.
All of it. Janine gonna wrap us up. Come on, Janine. You know Janine, right?
I think so.
No, never met, but
Wait a minute, Janine and G were never met? That's on me. I'm gonna have to get us all together. Janine!
I'm so excited to be here, and Spirit, when I was working on it, I listened through the whole time I was working. I was like, wow, she has such an amazing, peaceful energy and spirit. And I was like, so, when you talked about your eviction and you seen it, she came to my mind immediately because I know she was the one that supported you and loved you through the journey.
Yeah, she was the one I called when I got evicted. I was like, Jiwa. You know what was very interesting about Jiwa? I gotta tell you, no, my friends, we friends. We not just on YouTube videos. We just not, right? Me, Janine, Jiwa, my friends, we don't just do videos and just talk on Clubhouse. No, we be about it, right? Well, Janine, when I called Jiwa, well, Jiwa, I got evicted. Do you know what Jiwa said? Well, okay. Well, what you gonna do with all this stuff? It was no, what's wrong with you? Girl, you think together. What, are you losing it? Girl, you a teacher. You shouldn't be doing this. You was teaching people this morning about abundance, and you could not get a shred of judgment, not a shred of judgment out of Dr. Jiwa Lee. It was astounding because I was beating myself up, trust me. Jiwa, I wasn't fully beating myself up because a part of me was sitting there reading A Course in Miracles. And then it was sitting on the top of the bag, Jiwa, when I got
I had to take this call, so I'm going to mute myself.
Yes. So Jiwa is she not just somebody that's on YouTube, but y'all don't understand. Jiwa I called when I got evicted from my apartment, and she saw all my stuff out there. Was like, well, what you want to do? What you want to do? And you come to my house, and okay, let's move on. It is what it is. I mean, wow.
Yes. Wow. Well, I just want to offer that I love the idea of what you're doing and what you're always doing, but the demonstration of how you do what you do. And every time I think of the Course in Miracles, the one course that I remember being on the line that always comes to my mind whenever I'm in anything is my only job is God. My only job is God. So whenever, that's the thing that I carry with me all the time, and I do what you do. Whenever life is doing what you do, I always know my only job is God. And I think about Albert Einstein a lot with that, because Albert Einstein said he only wanted to think the thoughts of God. His affirmation every morning is, I think the thoughts of God. I only think the thoughts of God. And so I just wanted to come in this morning and say thank you. It was such an amazing experience to be on this ride with you and to see you and just doing what you do. And I just wanted to offer it. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I love Dr. Judy. She was just doing it. Her peaceful energy just was so amazing this morning. I just wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm going to make it so that we meet up. We're going to have a girls' getaway or something. Janine.
Okay.
She's in Michigan and I'm in Chicago. I can just drive up to Michigan.
Oh, well, go ahead, do it. Oh my goodness, do it. I'm gonna give y'all each other's phone numbers, or you just y'all can connect. You can go right to her website and connect, right, G? She can connect.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Janine.
I'm
on the route between you and Jiwa, so just pick me up along the way.
It sounds like a party has already started. So Janine, pick up on me and Taya Bell in Cleveland, Ohio. Over to.
How long are you gonna be in Miami?
No, I'm not in Miami. I'm in Cozumel, Mexico, girlfriend. Getting my life.
You're going to Miami in February.
Yes, I'm going to Miami in February. That's a good question. I have no idea.
Because I'll be in Miami from the 27th to the 8th of March.
Oh, you coming February 27th to March 8th?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna beat you on February 27th because February 26th, the retreat is over. February 27th, we're gonna hang out. What time you get to Miami on February 27th? Well, you can tell me that. We're gonna hang out on the 27th. How's that?
I'm coming to see your pretty face and we're gonna hang out.
We haven't hung out since I was in Chicago. And my daughter had her experience. Remember? Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
But you had to, I hear you talking, but let me tell you, you handled it all. You say what you say, but it looks so good on you. You had from the eviction to your daughter to all the stuff, baby. You did it with elegance, ease, and grace. I promise you, you did.
Oh my goodness, Janine, it was something too. And it's a little, what's the word? Eviscerating. It is humbling. It is, personality melting, ego melting to be able to be going through all that stuff with people watching. Like that was not easy because I didn't have none of these lessons privately. And I remember our Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith one day said, "Welcome, ministers, you who agree to do your healing publicly." And I'm telling you, I wanted to run out the room. No, the little voice, no, no, run. And the bigger me was sitting there, yes, because we walked through it, the experiences of planet Earth, and we're still here. We're indestructible, we're immortal, we can't be destroyed. We can't go out unless our soul said it's time to go out. And you're gonna be okay. I got evictions, I got an eviction, foreclosure, I got divorce, 2 divorces, bankruptcy, I got custody issues with the daughter, I got, oh my goodness, name it.
But you know what's the beautiful thing about it? Yes, you get to heal publicly, but you give people permission to see that it can be done. We talk, it seems like when I come on, I'm like, we talk about those things, but the beauty of it is that we get to see you be God. We get to see you be God through the whole process and remember who you are through the process, because you wouldn't be here if you hadn't had that experience. Because now you can show people and talk about it and not talk about it from, where I read it in a book, but I experienced what it means to be God on the planet. And it gets to be beautiful on the other side. And you get to see that vow. And that's the beauty of watching you grow, evolve, and become the beautiful goddess that you are on the planet right now. And it's a beautiful thing. So I say, I wouldn't give nothing for the journey. I wouldn't give nothing to even become the beautiful experience you are right now. You are amazing. And I love it. I love it, all of the journey. And I think the important thing is that we forget to love the dark parts of our life. We forget to love all of ourselves. And I think as we return to love, we remember that we have to love everything, who we are, the dark, the light, the good, and then you get to release the judgment and just observe what's going on in your life and say, my only job is God.
That's it.
And remember, it's all about love. It's to love me even when I'm not showing up the way people think I should show up. Even if you don't think, I know that this is my journey and I gotta love it anyway. And you loved it through your whole journey. Even when you was mad when the angels told you that.
I still had to teach it, even though I didn't understand it.
But it was a beautiful teaching, because that right there was really a reminder to me that if we in love, we are in alignment with everything we need in life. As long as we're in that love vibration, that highest, and really understanding love though, because see, we got a false concept of love. Once we want to manipulate or get attached to something, it's no longer love. Love is not attachment. Love is not manipulation. Love is just allowing things to be exactly as it is and being acceptance of it. And love through it. And so I just want to say, watching you through your journey has been beautiful. It's been a beautiful experience. All of it. And so I just...
And parts of it that a lot of people don't know, including when Janine, I had to call her when I was having an experience with this man, and I was on silence. I went in the bathroom. I had to ask permission to speak. Yes, girl. Y'all remember that story? Janine, I was in the bathroom like this on the phone, Janine. What, Janine? No, my friends know all the story. They know parts of the story that's not on videos yet. Remember that, Janine?
Oh.
so funny.
But you know what I love in that story is that you honored your truth. You honored your truth.
Oh
and
my
you
God.
switched your truth. That's the one thing that, like, look, I ain't gonna be able to do this because this is not what I physically desire for myself.
I can't do it, Janine. I can't do it. And I knew to call Janine because she's been married for umpteen years, right? Forever. So she would know matters of love. She would know. She would understand. She's the goddess of love. If I just call the goddess of love, right? I need a lifeline. I need to call a friend. Oh my God. Oh.
And you did exactly what you're supposed to do, which was be truthful and honest. And voice your truth, and you did it with love and such elegance. And so when I think about that, you even did that with love and elegance and truth.
Ooh, ooh. That was a close one. I didn't know if I was going to be able to handle that one in love. Janine, you helped me out on that one.
Oh my God.
I would not be doing this without all of y'all. Would anybody? Is anybody doing this by themselves? I don't know if you're out there doing this by yourself, I don't know what you're doing. You better get a bunch of people around you that are for you and love you and you love them. And you ain't got to talk to them every day. As long as you know the love is there, the love is there. That's all you need to know.
That's true. And to see your beauty even when you can't see it. And remind you of it. And that's the thing that I think that you have surrounded yourself. When I see your beautiful sister on this YouTube this morning, I was like, how amazing. I've been hearing about her. I loved her. I didn't even know.
You love Dr. Jiwa. Oh, yeah, you love her.
I've heard so much about you over the years from Val and how, just how you've been such a blessing and just being you. And I just heard your love this morning and heard your spirit. And I just said, she is beautiful. You are so beautiful and so amazing. I just want to say to both of y'all, keep shining, keep being God on the planet, and have an amazing, wonderful day. I'm not going to keep us on, but I just wanted to stop in and say I love you guys. You all are so beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh,
Thank you, Janine.
I love you, Janine. I love you. And Janine, you see the love and the beauty because you are love and beauty. I want to go to Queen Hadassah because what people don't know about Jiwa is she got a slice inside too. Jiwa will slice you. So I want to hear from one of your students, one of our co-students. We teach, both of us teach her, and Queen Hadassah is got to do with all love and peace and all this beauty all the time. Jiwa will slice you, okay? Don't play. She will straight up cut you. Like, what is wrong with you? Get yourself. Oh no, she got another side. You haven't seen it yet. I do too. That is love. Absolutely, it's love. You're right.
Yes. Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Queen Hadassah.
We have been at this for a while. This is beautiful. And I've been listening, and to tell you the truth, I am just really amazed at everything that I'm hearing. And it's sort of like my life is flashing in front of me. Just listening to everyone and then having Jiwa there. I mean, she is my master teacher of A Course in Miracles, and I have been studying with her this is my 4th year. Now, I have been in school for most of my life and teaching at the university level for almost 20 years, and I have never taken a class 4 times in a row. This time in my life. And I've repeated a course 4 times, and it's been an awakening. Where I started is not where I am today, so there is hope. When I started, I promise you all, I was ratchet. Horrible.
Weren't we all? Weren't we all? We all had our ratchet points and parts.
No, but I thought I was the bomb.com.
No, I'm good. Everybody else is the problem. I'm good.
You didn't tell me anything. I think I was coaching with Dr. Jiwa. I went on my divine journey, and y'all know the story. I was teaching at the university, got fired one time, appealed for my job, got it back. It was a horror, got fired again. You know, who gets fired from the same job twice? But me. And then I said, you know what? I went on one retreat with Rev, and that was the end of that. I went home, and in 3 weeks, I packed my things, and we were on the next thing, smoking to the Bahamas, which I spent 6 months crying on the beach.
That retreat was Sedona. You got the Bell Rock. You got in that vortex energy.
Oh, yes, I did. And Taya Bell was there. So she was there at the beginning of my unfolding. So I started coaching with Dr. G a year later. And it was the most heart-wrenching thing I ever did in my life, because Dr. G will not let you be slippery. She will not let you believe things that are not true. And I tried to pin all my bad behavior on everything and everyone else. I was a victim. They did this to me. They did that to me.
That's not going to fly. That is not going to fly.
Never. And so you get to put your big girl panties on and grow up. If you ever sit in a class with Dr. Sheila, you will level up. You will, or you leave. You either level up or leave.
Yeah. Yeah. People do leave in high viscosity. They don't like to hear the truth, or maybe they're not ready yet, or whatever the case may be. They leave programs. It's all good. Jiwa, is your program still open for the year? ACIM, is it closed for the year?
No, the Course in Miracles starts on January 1st, and we do the course together for the whole year. However, I do have a course that I'm going to start on February 14th called Whole Heart Living.
Oh,
and it's going to be based on chapter 2.
Oh, beautiful. Ooh, a lot of people need that. We will have that posted in our on YouTube. We'll put the link below this vid on YouTube. And you know, Jiwa, your video is pinned to the top of our Facebook, my Facebook fan page. Have you seen it?
No.
Like views. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people. It's pinned so that people would know when they come, this is what we're about. It's such a good video. It's such a good video about the fourth dimension. What is the fourth dimension? And about the heart. It is so good. So I pinned it to the top of the, if you haven't watched Dr. Jiwa Lee in action, go to my Facebook, Reverend Valerie Love, not the Valerie Love, my personal page, the fan page, which is at Val Love Inspires. And if you go to the Facebook fan page for Reverend Valerie Love, you'll see pinned to the top of that page an interview with Dr. Jiwa Lee, my sister from another mister, and you will see her breaking it down about the heart. Okay, about the heart. So I love that. I love that. Our card for the day is the 7 of Swords. We have a card for the day every day. Oh, Queen Hadassah. Dr. B, I cut you off. Continue, please. Please continue. I apologize.
Thank you. Basically, what do I say? I am so grateful and appreciative of where I am in my life now. I mean, the course has totally transformed, well, I can't say totally, but it has transformed my life out of victimhood. I am no longer a victim. You know, I spent most of my life denying my divinity, and I didn't realize that until my work with Dr. Jiwa. I was, doing things that made no sense, but you couldn't tell me different. And so my life is totally different today than it was 5 years ago. And I'm really appreciative for that. And for all of you on stage here in Clubhouse, doing this course with us, hang in there. And just know this is the tip of the iceberg. When you really want to dig in and study, and really, you get a master teacher and you dig in and you just sit down and do the work. Just do the work. And, it's true. You're ready. The master teacher will show up, because the way I met Dr. Jiwa, I met her at the What is Beauty in 2017, I believe.
You met her at What is Beauty in New York? Yes. Or DC?
Yeah. In New York. Remember we did the one in New York, and she walked up to me. Yeah, she walked up to me and she said, "I need you in my life." And I'm like, I'm just, okay. without me saying anything really. And she just walked up to me and said, I need you in my life. I was like, okay.
Wow.
Because the me back then would have never said that. My higher self knew that I needed this, and so it just spoke out of me because my own egoic self was too dumb to even recognize that I needed a Dr. G in my life. So I could say, there was something inside of me that said that. And from that point, here I am today, and I'm really appreciative of that. Really.
And she, Queen Hadassah, that's her sacred name from the mystery school. Dr. Denise Bacchus is a sturdy one because she let me and Angie were beat up on her. It's beautiful. Like she lets she lets both of us beat up on her.
like punching Judy. Punching Judy with the clubs.
She's in both programs. She's in the mystery school. She's like, give it to me, give it to me, give it all. No, we don't abuse people. We don't abuse people. We're saying it in love that she took herself on. She took herself on in the mystery school, and she took herself on with Dr. Jiwa. And if you're not in the mystery school initiation, our 1-year program for initiation closes at the end of January. So hop in and you will see that now she is serving other people, also helping them in their unfoldment as a big sister in the mystery school. And how many years have we been in the mystery school? You were a founding member at the mystery school when we had our first classes in Salem. So
4 years.
There we are. So if you think you're going to do this thing in 6 months or 90 days or 1 day, I don't know. Maybe commit longer than that.
Right?
Maybe commit for life, right? How about it? Maybe commit for life. All right. Dr. Denise Bacchus, I will turn it over to you for our Galactic Signature for today.
I don't like when you say my government name out like that.
Oh, Queen Hadassah. Queen Hadassah. Thank you for letting me know. And I will stick with sacred names. The same thing with Harmony. Harmony told me the same thing. She's like, I like Harmony. Call me Harmony. Stop calling me Wiley. Taya Bell. Stop calling me that. Call me Harmony. I was like, Harmony. That's Harmony's sacred name. That's her sacred name. And her sacred name is Queen Hadassah. And Queen Hadassah, I'll turn it over to you for the Galactic Signature for the day.
Okay, so today we have yellow planetary sun. I perfect in order to enlighten, producing life. I seal the matrix of universal fire, the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of elegance. I am a polar kin. I extend the yellow galactic spectrum.
Oh, today we have a polar kin. Oh my goodness. Oh, yummy. Okay, continue.
Ear to ear. I perfect in order to enlighten, producing life. I seal the matrix of universal fire with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of elegance. I am a polar kin. I extend the yellow galactic spectrum.
Wow. A third time? We do it 3 times? Yes.
I perfect in order to enlighten, producing life. I seal the matrix of universal fire with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of elegance. I am a polar kin. I extend the yellow galactic spectrum, yellow planetary sun.
Wow, that was our Galactic Signature for the day. And if you don't know what that is, tap the little link at the top of the Clubhouse room, and that is the book Decode Yourself that I created. It's actually a book. It's a video book. So it has videos and writing so that you decode yourself with your galactic signature, your 5th force oracle, your birthday psalm, a bunch of your birth information, 10 aspects of your birth information, all in that book. So decode yourself. And that's at ValerieLove.com. Click on books. And for all of you who are registering for 222 Circle of Life, I saw your comment earlier. For everyone who's coming with us to the 222 event in Miami, you will receive the venue information on this weekend, the 22nd, 1 month before the event. So you will have it a month before the event, exactly where we're going to be in Miami. So pack your bags, get your flights to Miami. Everyone, you can fly into either Miami or Fort Lauderdale, because from either one of those, you can take a a quick Uber to the hotel. It would be closer if you fly into Miami, yet you can fly into Miami or Fort Lauderdale. For all our beautiful peeps registering, Lake Princess is also going to be at the 222 event. OMG. Are you going to be at the 22 event? Do you know it yet, Dr. G. Willie? We were talking
I think I may be there.
Maybe able to come to,
I think I may be able to swing it. I had to be in North Carolina, but I think I'll be able to swing it.
Until before North Carolina, before you retreat North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. You can do it.
So. Yeah.
I can say you can do it. Can I put it on?
You can put it on.
You can put it on. Else is going to be there too. OMG, 222 is about to be on. It's about to be on. It's going to be, it's going to be galactic. All right. Thank you, everyone. Everyone on Clubhouse, we do this every morning. Everyone on Clubhouse, unmute, send some love to everybody on YouTube. Send some love to Dr. G. Willie. We love you, G. We love you. We love you. We love you, G. Thank you so much for being with us for hours this morning. Hours.
Wow.
Yeah, 3.5 hours we've been on pretty much.
Wow.
Well, we go for however long we go every morning, and I'm going to link up everything to below this vid. Okay, G. I'm going to link up all the things that you want linked up to the book and your website and your heart course that you will be teaching, so people can engage, family, engage. Don't just watch. As Christ said, don't just be hearers of the word, become doers. Practice it, right? Walk it out. All right, everybody on Clubhouse, let's hear from you. Love you. Thank you, Jewel. Love you. Have a beautiful day.